Lies. It is not John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. It is Andrew Salciunas and Andrew DeCecco. Giant of the K off one more day. He'll be back tomorrow. I will not be. So I figured I'd start the new year off right by working and then take January 2nd off, which is not something normally people do. Andrew DeCecco, good morning. Thanks for coming in, and Happy New Year, brother.
Good morning, Andrew. Great to be with you. Happy New Year. And then luckily for you, you didn't have to deal with that snow squall driving in here.
DeCecco walks in. He goes, man, that was wild, the snow squall. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, I got here like 40 minutes earlier, and I was driving in, and I told Andrew, I'm driving in. The skies were clear. The moon was bright. I said to myself out loud in my car, what a beautiful morning.
Meanwhile, I'm driving in. It's like the Chronicles of Narnia outside.
I'm like, what are you talking about, snow squall? Then Connor goes, yo, dude, squalling outside. So I walk around, and I see there's a sheet of white outside. I don't even know when that happened.
Yeah, you went to the window to the squall. It was nuts this morning.
It was a crazy. I know what you were trying to do there, and it sounded horrible.
All right. New year.
to the
I'm
squall.
working some bits out.
Let's never do those again. Happy New Year, everybody. If you are joining us at 6:01 this morning, you're either still partying, you did not party, or you said, you know what, let me just get up with Kincade and Salciunas and see what these guys are talking about. And there is something to talk about today, not just New Year's Eve and New Year's Day fun, which we will do throughout the course of the show today. But minutes after we got off the air yesterday, Connor and I, there was the report from Jeff McClain of the Inquirer that the Eagles were planning on resting their starters, a report that Adam Schefter said earlier in the show here on the Fanatic the day before. It was Mike Garafolo that was tweeting it out. Nick Sirianni made it kind of clear without saying it in his press conference earlier in the week that it looked like they were going to rest their starters. So the decision, when I saw Jeff McClain's report yesterday, I was not surprised in the least. And then, of course, the Eagles eventually confirm his reporting. Tanner McKee will be your starting quarterback on Sunday. There will be some starters that have to play because there is a numbers game. You can't just – it's not like a college football roster where you have 150 guys on a sideline. You have 53. You're going to have to play some starters. But the decision has come out that the Eagles will rest the majority of starters, key starters like Jalen Hurts, I imagine Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So to start the show today at 610-632-0975, we want your reaction to the Eagles' decision to rest the starters. So I put out a video on social media yesterday, and I stand by it. If you were on one side or the other, I don't think you were wrong or crazy. I think this one was truly debatable. I said this a couple times this week, Andrew. Last year, I did not think there was a debate. I understand people wanted to witness history, but to me, an individual record versus the big picture, I did not think that was a debate at all.
No, you and I were on the same side of that, and I look at it through the lens of how the Eagles are approaching it, and it made sense. No one player, no one goal is above the team goal.
Right.
And you don't run the risk of putting your star player out there because then you have to roll out your starting offensive line, and you're putting other players at risk. When the goal is to win a Super Bowl or at least attain the Super Bowl, you can't run the risk in a late season game.
Right. It like, to me, I thought it was silly to even debate it. Like the other day, we got somebody randomly text in after I said that, you know, it's not like Saquon did anything in the Super Bowl anyway. Ignoring the 100 yards he had against the Packers, the almost 200 yards he had against the Rams, the 100 yards he had against the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. Like, what do we do? I don't even know why we're still going back to that. There was no debate, in my opinion, about last year. But this year was a real debate. 2 seed, potentially, versus resting and maybe not getting the 2 seed. And so, as it stands, we know that the Eagles will not be playing their starters. You're going to hope that Tanner McKee and the Eagles' backups can put together some decent of a game on Sunday, maybe still win the football game, and then we wait and see what happens with Chicago. But I know that yesterday's debate leading up to the decision was actually a debate. Where did you come in on this before the decision was made, Andrew?
Yeah, see, even though the 2 seed is still very much at play, I look at it through from the perspective of the Eagles' reserves, I believe, can beat the Commanders as currently constituted. Josh Johnson, I don't know that he strikes fear in anyone. And seeing Tanner McKee play before, I think you have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And the skill players that they're going to have, I mean, that's better than some of these other teams that you're going to see around the NFL. And so I always thought that the Eagles should rest key players, especially along the offensive line. Those guys have been banged up all season long. You don't think that they could benefit from a week going into the postseason. I mean, they played 21 weeks last season. Then you have a shortened off season. They're constantly going. And I think that when you have an opportunity to do so, you err on the side of caution and you lean into your reserve. You say, this is your opportunity. Go out there and beat an inferior team. So,
and the other thing is, like, if there was we've talked about potential matchups in the first round. There's one team that I fear, and they just lost Monday night to the Falcons in the Los Angeles Rams, which you could face in the first round. Or it's the Packers, or it's the 49ers, or it's the Seahawks. Like, whatever it is, I don't think there's a team that anybody is totally fearful of. Like, I'm the one that's scared of the Rams. Not many other people seem to be in the city. So it's not like they wanted to avoid anybody. They're doing what they think is best, which is resting their starters, which is maybe giving them their best shot at the first round of the playoffs, being more healthy. I was listening to Johnny Marks yesterday. I saw the Twitter reaction by John Kincade. There were people angry with the decision. And that's the thing where I'm confused the most. I understand wanting a side or having a side, right? I wanted them to rest starters. That was my preference. But if the decision came out, if I read Jeff McClain's tweet, but it was just the complete reverse. The Eagles are playing their starters. They want to try to give them their best chance possible to get the 2 seed, to have the 2 home games in the playoffs. If you win your first round matchup, I would have said, okay, not what I wanted, but all right, I'm fine with it. I don't understand the anger. Connor told me before the show that he saw a tweet, somebody in all caps talking about how Nick Sirianni's an idiot for this decision. I did not understand the visceral reaction that some people had to this decision at all.
No, I don't understand the outrage here. Look, go back to the 2023 season, right?
Mm-hmm.
When A.J. Brown got hurt against the Giants. And then they pulled all the starters. And A.J. Brown wasn't available for the wild card game. Now, the Eagles don't win that wild card game likely anyway with A.J. Brown because they didn't play well.
Yeah.
But that just kind of underscores the importance of not putting your stars out there in a game that really doesn't have a ton of meaning. Yes, the 2 seed is very important, but you look at the Commanders, you look at what you have in the players that are going to be going out there, and I think you still feel comfortable they can go out there and win.
And that's the thing. There's a best-case scenario. The best-case scenario is whoever plays for the Eagles could still beat a Commanders team that realizes that this is the last game of the regular season. And Dan Quinn can do all the macho, we'll see them in 2 weeks he wants. If the Eagles aren't playing their starters, there's probably not as much anger, and maybe the Commanders are just like, all right, let's get home. They'll probably give a fight in the first half, and then halftime will happen. And if it's a close game or if the Eagles have the lead, the Commanders will completely lose all energy for the remainder of the game. The Eagles will win, and then we scoreboard watch with Chicago. There is a best-case scenario where the Eagles end up still winning on Sunday, the Bears end up losing on Sunday, and you rested your starters. That's the best-case scenario. If that's not how it plays out, Eagles lose or the Bears lose and the Eagles don't win and whatever, I'm still not angry. I got what I ultimately wanted. What I ultimately wanted was the Eagles to rest their starters. Now, coming up next, there is a third reaction. So reaction 1 is you're happy that they're resting the starters. Reaction 2 is you're upset that they're not going for it for that 2nd seed, giving it their best. John Kincade saying they're waving the white flag, which I laugh at. There's a third reason, and that reason is another one that people are upset by. And it's probably the one that I disagree with the most. I'll explain more coming up next. My man Andrew DeCecco with us for the entire show today on their New Year's Day. Happy 2026, everybody. We'll continue some of the New Year's Day fun here on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's 6:13 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic Johnny out today. He'll be back tomorrow. Andrew DeCecco filling in for him today. And we're reacting to the starters not playing this Sunday to the Commanders. When the decision comes out, I go, all right, that's what I wanted. If the decision was the opposite, I would have said, all right, not my preference, but I'm okay with it. Because I thought this was a real debate. If you valued the 2 seed, let me look at it from that standpoint. You want 2 home games as long as you win your first round matchup. There is a belief that the Packers is a more winnable game than either the Niners or the Rams, whoever you could face as the 3 seed. So people that said that, I totally understood. I was like, all right, that's fair. Like, I agree. The Packers are banged up. Packers probably don't have some deep playoff run in them. You win that game, and you're hosting round 2, no matter who it is. You don't need any sort of weird upset. Like, you're hosting round 2, Lincoln Financial Field divisional round of the playoffs. I totally understood why people said that. But again, you got to win first. And this offensive line is banged up. I would not mind giving Lane Johnson as much time off as possible. I've said this a couple of times, Andrew. I believe you could put Lane Johnson into hibernation and wake him up and tell him to play right tackle, and he'd be spectacular at it. Like, I don't think he needs tune-up games. Like, I think he'd be fine.
Did you see Hard Knocks? I mean, he was getting after it.
Oh yeah, he's ready to go. He's a Hall of Famer, right? He's ready to go. But there was one reaction from people that were upset, and I don't know if John totally had this opinion, John Kincade, but there were a lot of people that had this opinion. It's probably the one that I disagree with the most when it comes to this debate. They don't deserve the week off, or at least the offense doesn't deserve the week off because they have struggled so much this year, and maybe a Week 18 game could be some sort of game where they find something that could generate offense going into the playoffs. That is the one that I disagreed with the most.
Wholeheartedly.
Because they're not going to find something in Week 18. Like, we saw it against the Bills. They played well offensively against the Commanders, and in the second half against the Commanders, and all game against the Raiders. The first half against the Commanders wasn't good either. I don't think that you're going to find something in Week 18 against a team that's done that's going to help you against the Packers, Rams, Niners, whoever you end up playing in the first round. I don't think Week 18 would have benefited the Eagles for some big picture thing at all. That's the one that I disagree with the most.
I disagree with that a lot, and I also disagree wholeheartedly with the premise that they don't deserve the week off. I mean, like, who is anyone to say that they don't deserve it? I look at it much like you do. This is their offense. It's not going to change. We just seen 17 weeks of it.
Yes.
There's not going to be this new rediscovery. And then you're going to say, well, it was just the Commanders. Can that carry over into the postseason? I think that the offense can tweak some things and be more of the offense that we saw against the Vikings, but it's not going to be this juggernaut.
Right.
And there's not going to be this eureka type of moment where everything's going to sort of come into place like we all expected it to look. I think this is the smart play. So you mentioned the offensive line. I look at it like I wouldn't play Jordan Mailata, I wouldn't play Cam Jurgens, and I wouldn't play Landon Dickerson. So you would have Fred Johnson, who would probably play left tackle. Matt Pryor would play right tackle.
Yeah.
Brett Toth would play probably left guard, Drew Kendall at center, and Tyler Steen's probably going to have to play.
Yes. And you're not going to play Jalen Hurts behind that offensive line. With all due respect to those 5 gentlemen, you're not going to have Jalen Hurts out there behind those guys. And again, for this team, say for the billionth time, for this team to be able to make some sort of run in the playoffs, they're going to have to get the ground game going. And the reason why the ground game has been struggling all season long, Andrew, you have been documenting it since week 1.
Yeah.
The offensive line has just not been playing well enough. How or why they're not playing well enough is up to everybody to determine. Is it they're banged up? Is it just defenses are playing them differently? Whatever it is. To me, the best thing for this Eagles team moving forward is maybe a somewhat healthier offensive line that can win the point of attack, get push up front, and then Saquon Barkley can have one of his Saquon Barkley games that we have seen very few of this year, and then maybe you win a playoff game, and maybe you get the ball rolling that way. But having a banged-up offensive line or a more banged-up offensive line, their health isn't going to get completely cleared, right? Like, they're not going to walk in after 1 week off with a clean bill of health. But it might be better for them just a week of being off their feet, not getting beat up, banged up, bruised up in a football game, especially ultimately a meaningless one, in my opinion. For the big picture, you need your offensive line to be ready to go.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is if you ask the people who are on that side of like, oh, the offense, they haven't earned it because of the way they played this year. the large majority of people on that side, I have to imagine, would say, well, it's the scheme and the coaching and Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. Those guys are still calling the game on Sunday. So if they need to figure something out, they can try schematic stuff against Washington. But at the end of the day, you need the players healthy. And if your problem is with the coaching staff, I don't get why that doesn't afford the players extra rest to get healthier for the postseason. It just doesn't carry weight.
No, yeah, that's well said.
Again, that's the one that I disagree with the most. They don't deserve the week off. So look, there's three guys here on the show that are sort of all in the same boat, that resting the starters is the best thing for the team. Again, if the decision was the reverse, the flip side, I would not have freaked out. I did not understand the anger that I heard on Middays with Marks yesterday when the news comes out, the anger or the upset nature that I saw on John Kincaid's timeline on Twitter yesterday. There were a lot of people that were upset with the decision. If you are one of them, tell us why. 610-632-0975. Nobody's going to yell and scream at you on this show today.
We won't do that.
We will.
I might.
We will hear you out. I am going to tell you now I disagree with you, but if you can make some compelling case, that's great. 610-632-0975. By the way, we are on YouTube this morning. I know that was a question even in-house if we were going to be on YouTube or not this morning. We are on YouTube. We appreciate our YouTube community. As always, Happy New Year to you. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. Your reaction to the Eagles deciding to rest the majority of their starters this Sunday against the Commanders. Now, coming up next, I entered the lab this morning. Evil scientist stuff. I'm going to need you to listen closely, walk with me, talk with me. Based on Vegas, I have every scenario for you, depending on how seeds play out Week 18, about the first round matchup and the second round matchup. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out. He'll be back tomorrow here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Let me tell you about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. My bad, Connor. It's been a minute. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving all customers a profit boost every college playoff game day. That means more chances to level up your picks and turn big moments into even bigger wins. Ride with the favorite or take a shot on the underdog. For those of you who did bet Miami yesterday, congratulations. I was stunned. Or you could build a parlay. We got 3 great games today. Maybe you could parlay all money lines or spreads. Then apply your profit boost to go for bigger winnings. FanDuel is the best place to get into football action all playoff long. And when you win, you'll get paid instantly. I like Georgia the most today against Ole Miss. I'm happy for Ole Miss to get that first-round playoff win against a school that probably didn't belong in the college football playoff to begin with. I think Georgia ends that ride today. So visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. That's FanDuel.com/Fanatic to get your college football playoff profit boost today. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-triple profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles resting some starters. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. The Eagles have made their decision for their Week 18 game against the Commanders this Sunday. According to a report from Jeff McClain yesterday, the plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale. With the starters done until the playoffs, Nick Sirianni met with the media yesterday and talked about how, well, the defense is starting to peak at the right time.
You know, obviously, Vic and staff have done a really good job of coaching the guys, putting them in position to succeed. And we just continue to get better. And that's what you want to happen throughout the course of the year, is just continue to rise. And those guys have done that.
So the Eagles are prioritizing health, and with the 2 seeds still in play, there will certainly be debate on both sides of the argument. Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night out in Calgary. Sam Harrison allowed 5 goals on 25 shots. They're off till Saturday. Sixers take on the Mavericks in Dallas tonight at 8:30 p.m. They're looking to build off their overtime win in Memphis. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
26 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic on this New Year's Day. Happy New Year, everybody. I was looking at our YouTube chat during the commercial break. My man Deontay saying I might still be drunk. Not me, he. But we appreciate you being a part of the show despite feeling a certain type of way this morning. I told Connor the worst New Year's Day, even though it was the best New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, I used to work at Applebee's in Center City, 15th and Chestnut. And you know what happens in Center City on New Year's Day. You got the Mummers Parade.
Yeah.
People are all over the place. And people are looking for places that are open. And the Applebee's that is no longer open was open that day. And I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning, New Year's Eve and the New Year's Day. And I was imbibing until 6 o'clock in the morning. I needed my dad to drive me to work. That's how.
You're a rascal.
I was 20. So, like, it's understandable.
20. I feel like that's a year short.
Yeah, it was. Shout out to the bartender that pulled me behind and said, "Here, take a few of these. That'll help you." And I had to work the upstairs shift, so I had to go up and down the steps. Back to being drunk because the bartender hooked me up a little bit. But that's
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
We can't do the show intoxicated. You can listen to it like
you
that,
can.
though.
It might sound better. Who knows? All right. Do we have any text messages? Again, the question, it's a reaction day. We now know that the Eagles will be resting their starters this upcoming weekend. There is still the best case scenario where the backups can beat a bad Commanders team that has given up, and the Bears could lose, and then you get the 2 seed. And so you rested your starters, and you won, and the Bears lost. That is the best case scenario. It's not something that is impossible. Likelihood, the Eagles are the 3 seed. And I'm okay with it because I valued rest more so than seeding, even though I thought this was a debate that actually had merit, unlike last year. What do we got on the text line?
So we have a text here from Bill in Mount Holly who says, I think it is the right decision to rest the starters. Even going after the 2 seed with Chicago still in play could be a moot point. Getting the rest is much more important than taking a coin flip chance.
I agree. I think that's a smart text.
Okay. Very, very, very smart. What else we got?
That's the one we've gotten so far.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's New Year's Day, and a lot of people were up late last night, so a little slow on the text line this morning.
It's all good. All right, so I looked at FanDuel. I told you yesterday that they already have the odds out for each playoff scenario. So if the Eagles were to face the Packers, if the Eagles were to face the 49ers, or if the Eagles were to face the Rams, because those are the only 3 scenarios for the Eagles in the first round of playoffs. Packers obviously would be if they get the 2 seed. Rams, Niners would be if they get the 3 seed and how that division shakes out, because the Niners could still get the 1 seed. There's a lot of craziness in the NFC West. So let's start if the Eagles were the 2 seed. Based on Vegas, I'm just going to go strictly based on Vegas. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3-point favorites against the Packers. Now, I understand that if you're a favorite or an underdog, that does not guarantee if you win or lose a football game. But I'm just going to play this out a little bit, which is why I said walk with me, talk with me. We're going to go through this slow. If the Eagles were to finish the 2 seed, they are the favorites against the Packers. So let's say based off of that, they advance. The Chicago Bears, of course, would fall to the 3 seed. If the Bears fall to the 3 seed, the Bears would play either the Rams or the Niners, depending on how the NFC West shakes out this upcoming weekend. They are the underdogs in both of those matchups. I'll go one step further. They are the underdogs against the Packers. So even if the Eagles do finish as the 3 seed, according to Vegas, the 2-seeded Bears are an underdog against Green Bay. So in all 3 scenarios for Chicago, Vegas tells you there's a chance that they lose those football games. So if the Bears were the 3 seed, and then it would be either the Rams or the Niners, you know that Seattle, the 1 seed, would be playing the lowest seed, or San Francisco, if they're the 1 seed, would be playing the lowest seed. The Eagles would have a home game then. Either way, in these scenarios, the Eagles are playing in round 2 at home as long as they win their games. Now, again, as long as they win is an important mention, because the Eagles are not the favorite in the Rams game. So if we're going off of Vegas, the Eagles will lose to the Los Angeles Rams. And then the playoff run is over. And that sucks. Done. One and done. But according to Vegas, the Eagles would be the favorite against San Francisco, the favorite against Green Bay. So in either scenario, according to Vegas, the Eagles will be hosting the second-round matchup at Lincoln Financial Field unless they play the Rams in the first round. How do you feel about all that?
And that's the other layer to it. It's not as cut and dried as, Bears lose or whatever, and the Eagles take care of business. There's other ways that they could get some home games here, even with playing their backups. And all of that is taken into account. It's not an easy conversation, and there's a lot of – it's something that they don't take lightly, but you weigh all the pros and cons. And I think when you really take a step back and look at it, one, I think the Eagles can take care of business right now with their backups versus that bad Commanders team with Josh Johnson at quarterback. But, I think when I look at Eagles-Rams, right now I still think you give the Eagles a slight advantage. I know they haven't been playing well offensively or consistent offensively, but I think demonstrated performance, experience, being in the postseason, to me that counts for something.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rams one I fear the most. I've not hid my beliefs with that, and Vegas kind of confirms my beliefs that the Rams would be the team that could come into Philadelphia and get the win. I mean, look, the lines are close. It's Eagles -3 against the Packers, -2.5 against the 49ers, so it's not like they're calling them heavy favorites. But the fact that Vegas believes that the Rams could come in here most likely more so than the other two teams would win, I worry about the Rams. Plus, the Rams have pedigree, too, right? They've won a Super Bowl. Sean McVay's won a Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford's won a Super Bowl.
Matthew Stafford's my favorite quarterback in the league right now.
Matthew Stafford could win MVP this year. But to your point, against the Packers or Niners, as down as I am with the Eagles, I don't believe there is a team where I go, there is no shot the Eagles beat them. What I've been saying, my consistent message has been, I don't think the Eagles can win 3 games this way. I really don't. Home or away. Like, I don't think the Eagles can win 3 straight games with the offense being as bad as it's been and relying on the defense as much as they do, because at some point that might crack. I said it the other day. The Eagles have not had really many slip-up games defensively. It's been since September where they've been like, wow, that was a pretty rough day for the defense. Maybe
the Bears.
The Bears, but like again, it was 10-9 going into the fourth quarter.
Sure.
Like I can't crush the defense for that. The Eagles have been pretty consistent defensively. There is the worry that what if there's one slip-up where they allow 24 points, but the Eagles can't score 25?
Yeah, and the way that the Eagles play offense, it really doesn't give you a whole lot of margin for error. You almost need to play perfect. You can't turn the football over, because if you do that, that messes up their whole formula. And you're asking an awful lot of your defense to continuously pull them out of despair, out of the jaws of defeat. Now, I just don't think that's fair or realistic. Now, do I expect the offense to look quite as bad as it did against the Bills? No, and it's kind of hard not to. But I look at it, and if you want a silver lining and you're looking at the NFC, there's so much parity in the NFL this season.
Right.
The Rams have gotten exploited in their secondary.
They have been.
I was waiting for teams to test their cornerback, Akello Witherspoon and Emmanuel Forbes, and some of their safety play there. And you saw that the Falcons be able to get some things rolling with Bijan Robinson. You look at, and the Rams are going to be a better team with Devontae Adams there. Let's not forget that he didn't play in that game.
Right, yeah.
But
and they still put up the points they did in the second half.
Then you have the Seahawks with Sam Darnold. I've been a Sam Darnold, supporter, but in the postseason, I don't think he's going to be able to carve up the Eagles' defense, and that gives the Eagles an advantage. Matt LaFleur and the Packers. Nick Sirianni has done a very good job against Matt LaFleur in the past. I'm down on the Packers ever since the Micah Parsons injury. Had Micah Parsons been available, that changes the entire landscape of that. And, you look at the Bears. I think they're a good team. They're a young team, and I don't think they're quite ready to take that leap right now. So I think you feel pretty good if there were ever a year for the Eagles to have an offense like they have right now and try to make a postseason run,
it would be this one?
would be the year, yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad everything's working out for the Eagles. All right, coming up next, I will tell you how the second-round matchups would play out, depending on every single scenario. So if the Eagles get the 2 seed and they play the Packers, Vegas is telling you they're winning that football game. Who are they playing in round 2, depending on how each team sets out? Because there's a lot of crazy scenarios that could still happen in Week 18. Also, I have 2025 trivia questions for you. It is New Year's Day of 2026. How well do you remember the year that just ended? It's going to be Connor versus Andrew all show today. Andrew the Checo.
You better be ready.
I got to lock in.
First question comes your way next. It's not just sports. It's pop culture and everything.
Nice.
So that starts next here on 97.5 The Fanatic. and how it will play out according to Vegas and what the second round matchups would look like. I'll give that to you coming up in a second, but I want to open up this 2025 trivia between Andrew DeCecco and Connor Thomas. You can play at home. We appreciate you as always. What concert was the famous kiss cam where the CEO of a company got in trouble?
Coldplay.
That is correct. So Connor is up 1-0.
Nice. Good on you, man.
I have a bunch of random questions from 2025. All right, here's another one. What is the name of the viral collectible toys that come in boxes that everyone wanted to get their hands on this year?
I want to give Andrew time on this one to see if he knows it.
Turbo Man. I don't know.
That's the Labubu.
The Labubu is correct.
I would
know
never
about
have gotten
Connor
it.
with an early 2-0 lead. That I don't understand. The
I'm
Labubu.
chronically online. You might be in trouble, Andrew.
I don't understand the Labubu craze.
I didn't take into account that he is chronically online.
He is, yeah. You're not as much.
We
I'll try to mix some sports in for you. How's that sound?
We got a Sixer Labubu at Media Day. Ray and I did. They sat one on our table, and then I lost track of
There's
it.
customized Labubus?
Oh, yeah, man.
See, I didn't know this. I'm glad that my son is his age. He's too young to know.
You're lucky.
To know Labubus. Was it just like as crazy as like the Beanie Baby? The Beanie Baby?
I think less so. The Beanie Babies had like years long.
Well,
run.
yeah, and the Beanie Baby, if you find some old ones, you can sell them for like thousands of dollars.
That was like a late '90s thing,
Yeah,
right?
and like they're still selling. Like if you have them boxed up or in good condition, like depending on the certain style of Beanie Baby. I did that with my old Hot Wheels recently. My parents kept all my old Hot Wheels, and Coop plays with them every time we go down the shore because they just store it in the garage. And I was like, I wonder how much some of these cost. I found one. I have the Oscar Mayer Wiener car. I could sell that thing for $10. This little thing,
Wow.
for $10, and I'm like,
Well,
I start pulling a few aside, $5 here, $7 here. I'm like, I could come away with like 100 bills.
well, you've seen Home Alone 2, right?
Yes.
I had the Talk Boy.
Oh, did you really?
I had the Talk Boy. That was one of my favorite gifts I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I'm looking online because I'm curious, and they're going for like $2,000. Now, this is where I wish I kept mine in good
Oh, my
condition
God.
or even knew where it was.
They're going for $2,000.
Yeah.
Man, some of the old toys. It was a big following some of my friends on social media that also have kids. Santa really came with the nostalgic gifts for people this year, for the kids this year. Coop got a Light Bright.
I saw
yeah.
that.
He also got the
I saw that on your story. Yeah.
the city rug, the rug where it's
Oh,
like the
dude.
city. Yeah, Santa came through big time. My buddy Chris, his son, got the marble thing where you stack it. You build like this tower any way you want, and you drop the marble, and it gets to the bottom. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I
it's
do.
It's like the almost PVC pipe, but it's plastic. It's got different colors. I'm like, man, the '90s parents are reliving a lot of their glory days with Santa coming to town recently for the little kids.
What was the they were on like a keychain and they were like pets.
Yeah.
Oh, the Tamagotchi.
The
Tamagotchis,
Tamagotchis.
there
That
you
was a
go.
big 90s thing, too. So I have 2025 year trivia questions.
Tech decks.
Connor's already up 2-0 to check out. I don't like your chances. All right, so I went to the Evil Lab. So here are the 1 through 7 seeds based off of every scenario possible. So there's only 2 teams that could still get the 1 seed, Seattle and San Francisco. And if San Francisco gets the 1 seed, there's only one scenario. There's only San Fran, Philadelphia, or Chicago having the 2 seed. Then it's the NFC South. Then it's Seattle. Then it's the Rams. Then it's the Packers. Seattle, same thing. Seattle, and then whoever's the 2 seed, Philadelphia or Chicago. Then the South, then the Rams, then the Niners, then the Packers. There's only a little bit more flip-flopping that could be done right now. And the only reason why I put the South without putting a Carolina scenario or a Tampa scenario, I'm going to go around the room now. Does anybody believe that the Panthers or Buccaneers will win their first-round matchup regardless of who they face?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
No, but I didn't have Miami winning last night, so who knows?
Yeah, it's college football. That's
Weird
different.
stuff happens.
So,
But
totally
no,
different.
your point stands.
All right, so here's what I did for you. I have all the odds for each matchup. So let's say Seattle finishes as the 1 seed. and Philadelphia gets the 2 seed. We'll do the best case scenario one first, where Philadelphia gets the 2 seed. So the Eagles would play the Packers, and they are 3-point favorites. In both scenarios where the Eagles are the 2 seed, they play the Packers and they advance. So whether it's Seattle or San Francisco in the first round. But we'll start with the Seattle one. Chicago is not the favorite against the Niners. So the Niners would advance. Chicago gets eliminated. And the Rams are the favorite against the team in the South. So if Seattle's the 1 seed and the Eagles are the 2 seed, in this scenario, Seattle will play San Francisco in round 2 in Seattle. And the Eagles would host the Rams. So it looks like they can't escape the Rams, whether it's round 1 or round 2. In the scenario where San Francisco is the 1 seed, the Eagles would once again, as the 2 seed, beat the Packers. The Rams are projected to beat the Bears, and Seattle is projected to beat whoever the team is from the South. So in this scenario, San Fran plays the Rams in round 2. The Eagles would host the Seahawks in round 2. Which, knowing Connor Thomas, knowing you guys would actually celebrate that, correct?
Yeah, they win that game by 50.
I don't know.
I don't know about 50.
They probably win that game by, anywhere from 6 to 10 points. Sam Darnold coming to the link where he's prone to turnovers. And, I think that would favor the Eagles significantly.
As down as I am with the Eagles' chances of getting back to the Super Bowl, a Green Bay and Seattle path would be nice. I would appreciate that. But again, this is them having to get to the 2 seed. This is San Francisco having to beat the Seahawks this weekend. A lot of things have to go their way.
And they could, because San Fran's sort of the flavor of the week right now. Yeah.
And it's at home for them. Now, the other scenario, if Seattle is the 1 seed and Philadelphia is the 3 seed, the Seahawks obviously get the first round bye. Chicago would host Green Bay, and Vegas has Green Bay beating the Bears. The Eagles would host San Francisco, and Vegas has the Eagles beating the 49ers. So the Eagles would advance, and because the Bears get eliminated, the Eagles would be hosting their second-round matchup. The second-round matchup would be against the Los Angeles Rams because they would be the higher seed, and Seattle would be hosting the Packers. In the scenario where the Eagles are the 3 seed in San Francisco, again, I told you, walk with me, talk with me, because I'm giving you a lot of information here.
Yeah.
Green Bay beats Chicago again. The Rams would beat the Eagles. That's according to Vegas. The Eagles would lose in the first round of the Rams, which is not something that we want. So for the people that want the 2 seed, I hear you. That's why this debate was actually a debate, because the 2 seed guarantees you the home games, and if things go their way, it would probably be the best path possible for the Eagles.
Yeah, you say that, but there's another argument to be made, right? Timing of when you play these teams is important, and injuries don't get turned off in the postseason. There may be an argument to say if you're resting everybody week 18, you want L.A. early if it seems like you're on a collision course with them, where you've got guys feeling as healthy as they're going to feel, and you get a chance to knock off the team you're most afraid of.
Yeah, it feels inevitable that they would have to play the Rams at some point. I think you want them earlier. Just get it out of the way. That's the one team that I think you could make a case for that it could go maybe either way.
Yeah.
But other than that, for me, I don't know if there's any team in the NFC that you fear. The Niners are coming alive a little bit here late in the season.
I fear Shanahan.
Yeah, well, he is a tremendous play caller.
I fear the 49ers roster.
Like Christian McCaffrey.
And McCaffrey, yeah. But I fear Shanahan the most.
I look at it, and they're missing Nick Bosa, a top 5 edge rusher. They're missing Fred Warner, who possibly could come back for the Super Bowl should they make it that far. But he's the top off-ball linebacker.
It's like their Brandon Graham story, pretty much.
And a difference maker. Yeah, I don't know that any team really should strike a ton of fear if you're an Eagles fan.
It seems like the worst scenario would be if San Fran were to win the 1 seed and the Eagles get the 3 seed because they're playing the Rams in the first round.
Yeah, that would probably be the least ideal scenario.
Yeah, that to me is the worst one. So this is why, and I wanted to do this for a reason, because this almost vindicates anybody that said they wanted the 2 seed. And so that's why I like this debate is actually real. Last year's was you wanted something personal. You wanted to be able to tell your grandkids that you saw Saquon Barkley beat Eric Dickerson's record. To me, that was nonsense. This year, there's actually debate. So we want to hear from you. Now that you know what the Eagles are doing, what is your reaction to resting the starters, potentially not getting the 2 seed or not putting their best foot toward getting the 2 seed, and these playoff scenarios that I just gave you? 610-632-0975. I have more 2025 trivia questions. Also, I want to take a topic to the next level. We have potentially 4 playoff teams in 2026. We'll talk about that and also just how good Philadelphia will be compared to other major cities in 2026. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Birds make their Week 18 decision. I'm Connor Thomas. The Eagles have made their choice on whether or not they're going to rest players in Week 18 against the Commanders this Sunday. And according to a report from Jeff McClain yesterday, the plan is to sit down key starters, including Jalen Hurts, for the regular season finale. With the starters done until the postseason, Nick Sirianni met with the media yesterday. He did mention that the offense still has some lessons they can learn.
Obviously, we're all pissed that we didn't execute and coach as well as we needed to in the second half of that Buffalo game. But I really looked at it as like, man, there's some opportunities here that we can really get better from. And that's got to be the constant mindset you have.
And the coaches are still coaching on Sunday, whether the starters are playing or not. So maybe there is something for the Eagles to learn. But is it the right decision to sit down players? With the 2 seeds still in play, there's certainly going to be debate on both sides. Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night out in Calgary. Sam Harrison allowed 5 goals on 25 shots. They're off till Saturday. Sixers take on the Mavericks in Dallas tonight at 8:30. Looking to build off of that overtime win in Memphis on Tuesday. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. And a wild upset last night in the college football playoff. 10th seed of Miami knocked off defending champion Ohio State 24-14 to advance to the semifinals. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Show.
It is 6:55 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic. Johnny out today. He'll be back tomorrow. Coming up at 7:10, we will read through John Kincaid's timeline yesterday because he was one of the people that were very upset with the decision by the Philadelphia Eagles to not play their starters on Sunday. So it'll be a little precursor to what you will hear tomorrow because I'm out tomorrow. It'll be John and Connor tomorrow. So buckle up, buddy.
I'm ready to rock. I'm going to cook Andrew today in 2025 trivia.
You might.
And then
You
John
might.
and I are
Yeah,
going to.
you're up 2-0 already.
We're going to drop the gloves tomorrow on this resting thing.
Yeah. Again, I say buckle up because if the decision was not the one that I wanted, which was they were going to go for the 2 seed, I would have been like, okay, let's talk about it. For some reason, Kincade and Johnny Marks and Eagles fans are like angry with the decision. I don't understand the anger. That's the thing that I am most confused by right now.
Where the anger is derived from?
Yeah, like I understand wanting what you want, but sometimes you don't get what you want.
Yeah,
You get what you need, and what they need is rest.
All right, Rolling Stones.
Nice. I like that.
The funny thing is, if I was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, one, they'd have 0 wins, but 2, I'd be playing the starters this week because I would go after the 2 seed. I'm also the same guy that said run it up against Washington, 2-point conversion, hell yeah. So maybe I'm an idiot there, but I'm on that side. I don't have any issue with what they did, and I don't know how you can.
Well, I mean, I understand why you would be upset. We just went through the playoff scenarios. If the Eagles finish as the 3 seed, which they could, right? The Bears end up getting the win, or maybe the backups can't beat the Commanders, and they finish as the 3 seed. If San Francisco beats Seattle this weekend, the Eagles would play the Rams in the first round of the playoffs, which even though a lot of people say, frauds, they're the one team that I think everybody would agree has the best shot at beating the Eagles. Like that's when you're on with Johnny tomorrow, I want you to figure out why he's so upset because John is very confident about the Eagles' path in the playoffs. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but I mean, you see it like,
Yeah.
oh, the Rams. Why are you so scared of the Rams? Well, then why are you so upset that they are not going after the 2 seed?
What are you,
That's
my
fair.
ghostwriter for tomorrow?
You're welcome.
That's fair. You're
Because
making some good
if
points.
you feel so confident in the Eagles' path to the Super Bowl, you don't care what seed it is. If you aren't afraid of any team, and I see that on our YouTube feed every day, right? I see it on Twitter every single day. I'm called Negative Ninny like 4 days a week, right? If you feel so confident, you shouldn't care about seeding. If anything, rest is the best thing.
Yeah.
Like it's more so.
And I think at some point, I mean, obviously you are mindful of seeding, but you can't really worry about all the different scenarios. If you're the Eagles, if you're making those type of decisions, you have to look at what's in the best interest of your football team. And the best interest is health and preserving a lot of these players for whatever run is ahead of them. And I think sometimes you could play out all the scenarios in your mind, and I'm sure they do. And then you just have to say, look, well, what's most important?
Right.
Health.
And
to be
health is
able to
the
make
most
a run.
important thing. They won't win if they're not at their best.
Yeah.
All right, they won't win. I don't care if it's the Niners. Like they won't win.
Absolutely. And when you went through those playoff paths, the potential look that we did in the 6 o'clock hour.
I'll give this to you so that you can have it tomorrow for Johnny.
Perfect. But there was
Take
no
notes.
there was no path where it was like you're going to play the Panthers and the Packers and whatever. Like there was nothing that was so blatantly easy where I was like, "Oh, that's got to be it." So if it's
The one
marginal,
that I liked the most was the 2 seed. You play Green Bay in round 1, and then you play Seattle in round 2.
and even that you need help multiple ways to get to that point. Is that worth the risk?
You would need the Rams to beat the Bears, which very possible.
No, but
in
even
Chicago.
seeding-wise, the Seahawks would have to fall out of the 1 seed. You'd have to move up to the 2. Like, at this point, there's nothing clear and evident where I'm like, that's an easily attainable, better path that's worth the risk.
Right, but it's whether or not you want to go after that path. Like that, I think that's what people are upset about. Like, John is saying they waved the white flag to that path. I don't believe that to be true. I believe the Eagles' backups could actually beat a Commanders team that probably doesn't want to play on Sunday. Like, I believe that is still a possibility, but if you don't feel that way, I get it.
I'd love football guy Andrew's thoughts on this because this is
football guy.
my gut feeling on this. Let's say they match up with the Rams in round 1.
Okay.
You can't win that game. You're not a Super Bowl team anyway.
Yeah.
If you can't win that game, you're losing somewhere along. Like,
Sure.
obviously you're out, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you're the quality of team that's actually going to put together 3 postseason games and a Super Bowl win against whoever comes out of the AFC, you're better than that Rams team. So let's find out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any team in the NFC the Eagles can't beat. I really don't. They've already beaten the Rams. Granted, that was in September, and teams have evolved since then. But, yeah, I'm with you, Andrew. I believe this Eagles team on Sunday with Tanner McKee and Tank Bigsby and some of those other players on the defensive side, Byron Young and Keely Ringo and Jacorian Bennett, I think that they can beat Josh Johnson. I think Tanner McKee will outduel Josh Johnson and be able to produce more points. And so I think there is some confidence there that also factors into their decision, knowing, I think our team there that we're going to comprise can beat the Commanders.
By the way, when somebody else tweets it, remember where it came from first, because the beauty of Sports Talk Radio is everything's stolen from you. We got the Army-Navy backfield this weekend. We got Tank Bigsby and Will Shipley. The Army-Navy backfield, it should be trademarked. I should do it now. It's not going to happen in time. Somebody's going to steal it. There will be T-shirts outside of Lincoln Financial Field next week.
And we shouldn't bury the lead. I'm excited for this
I know.
game.
This is like your favorite game right now.
I'm stoked. I am, man. Look, because it's
You're
not.
telling me before the show, big game for Darius Cooper coming up.
Oh, I've never been more certain. Darius Cooper is going to have a big game. It's going to be sort of an extension of what we saw in training camp in the preseason with McKee.
I wonder if they.
I hope Britton Covey gets in too.
Yes,
I'm sure he will.
Action.
Yeah.
There is no props out for the Eagles Commanders game, in case you guys are wondering. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, yesterday, Andrew, Connor and I were having a lot of fun with the Flyers and Sixers because 2 nights ago was the Sixers overtime win against the Grizzlies.
Yep.
It was the best game of the trio, the max contract trio. We've not seen many games, period. Not good games, bad games. We just have not seen many games, period, with Maxey, Embiid, and George all on the court at the same time. They had lost their previous 9 games when all 3 of them played, at least logged in a minute, because there have been times where players exited during the games as well. They lost 9 straight games where those 3 guys played. They got the win in overtime against the Grizzlies. It was a fun win. VJ Edgecombe with the game-winning shot. It was great. Flyers also had a really nice win against the Canucks, winning 6-3. They did not have a nice win last night. They beat the crap out of them yesterday, which is a shame. But yesterday we were sort of celebrating the fact that both winter teams won, and they're both heading toward potential playoff appearances. Everybody in the NBA makes it. The Sixers are going to make the playoffs, unless catastrophic injuries happen again like last year, which I know you can't rule that out. But I believe that the Sixers will be making the playoffs this year, and I think the Flyers make the playoffs this year. We're heading in that direction. So it'll be the first time since 2010 where all 4 teams made the playoffs in Philadelphia in their respective season, right? So the Phillies in the 2025 year, the Eagles 25 into 26, the Sixers and Flyers 25 into 26. I can make the case that the Phillies will also make the playoffs in 2026. I don't think there's like some major fall off, even though I don't love what they're doing. I still think that they're going to be a playoff team. So we might see something in Philadelphia for the first time in 15, 16 years, in 2010 when all 4 teams made the playoffs. Is Philadelphia potentially going to be the best major sports city in the country in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, what other cities are up there? L.A.
So we have
Dodgers, and
L.A.
the Rams,
and let's talk about the real L.A. teams. It's like the New York thing, right? Like I think of the Rams before I think of the Chargers. I think of the Dodgers before I think of the Angels. I think of the Lakers before I think of the Clippers.
Sure,
right? Got the L.A. Kings out there. You have 4 teams that are decent, right? The Dodgers a little bit more than decent. Boston, you have the Celtics, who are actually playing pretty well this year, considering all the injuries that they've dealt with. The Red Sox are a wild card. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team next year or not. That's a funky division that they play in. New England obviously is in the playoffs, and then you got the Bruins. Chicago, yeah, you have the Bears, but is anybody really believing that the Bulls are going to make some deep playoff run?
Not. Yeah.
I don't think so. Who knows about the Cubs? They're a fluky team, in my opinion. And then you got the Blackhawks, right? There's Atlanta. I found a list of the top 10 major markets It's Philly, it's Boston, not in any order. Philly, Boston, New York, L.A., Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, D.C., the San Jose, Oakland, which is, the San Francisco 49ers and the Golden State Warriors, and there was one other that I missed. But I think Philadelphia could end up being maybe the most successful major city in 2026.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be New York. Jets, Giants, and they're really Jersey, so it complicates things.
Right. Like that. Well,
That
yeah,
takes them out of it.
and plus, let's say it's the Giants, right? I think more Yankees fans or Giants fans, or is it
Yeah, I think no. I
reverse?
think that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's Jets Mets.
All right. So the Giants stink, right? The Yankees will be in it. The New York Knicks, yeah, they'll be in the playoffs and they'll be pretty successful. But I don't see New York being like some juggernaut.
No.
And even in the LA thing, the Kings aren't a guarantee playoff team.
No. I think
For
Philadelphia.
hockey?
Yeah, I look at the Kings. I look at the Dodgers and the Rams. You can make a case for LA, but for Philadelphia, that's going to be it should be a clean sweep.
Now that does not mean championships.
Just getting into the postseason.
Getting into the playoffs. It might be Philadelphia might be the best city. Right? Boston, no guarantee to make the playoffs. The Bruins are at 44 points. Way down. They're the Atlantic Division, a little bit more difficult than the Metropolitan right now. Could Philadelphia be the best major sports city in the country in 2026? You guys can be a part of that as well if you want. 610-632-0975. All right, coming up next. I'm going to preview tomorrow's show for you when I'm out. Johnny the K, we're going to go through his Twitter timeline reacting to the news of the Eagles resting their starters. That comes right next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Gambler.
It is 7:10 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. That was the voice of John Kincade, who will be back tomorrow. I will be off, but I'm going to preview you tomorrow's show for you because his timeline was he was fired up when the word came down that the Eagles would not be playing their starters, which I am in favor of. But if it was the reverse, where the starters would be playing, I would not have some sort of reaction that John had. I'll read you those in a little bit. We're playing 2025 trivia as we just finished the year 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. Connor's up 2-0. All right, this one, no way you get it without the clue. Because I don't think you guys follow what Oxford University Press writes.
I mean,
Are you a big Oxford University Press?
I went there.
Yeah. Sure you did.
What?
No, I actually did.
You went to Oxford.
Swear.
He did. This is genius. What did the Oxford University Press name as their word of the year? It's actually 2 words.
Behoove.
I
So-
wish.
I wish.
I wish. I'll give you the clue. First one to get it gets the point. Bill Colarulo made pop champagne when it was announced.
Sirianni Love.
2 words.
Being objective. He says that a lot.
I'll give you one more clue. It is show related.
I don't even have anything. Make the switch. I don't know.
Getting closer. All right. The Oxford University Press, their word of the year, even though it's 2 words, rage bait.
Oh, that makes sense.
And you know Bill Colarulo probably celebrated that.
You're not stupid.
Love you, Bill. By the way, our hearts go out to Bill and his family. He lost his grandmother. I don't know if it was this week.
I believe it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve,
Right
okay.
around
Because
there.
I heard the announcement, and I know how much Bill loved his grandmother, and the fact that she was with him all these years and calling into the show back
Just a
when he was working
huge-
with Mike. Yeah,
Huge supporter of Bill's and
Yeah,
called
which is
in multiple times.
freaking beautiful.
Sweet
So,
lady, yeah.
horrible to hear the news. So we were thinking of the Colarulo family. We had been thinking of the Colarulo family once we heard the news. All right, so John Kincade. When the report from Jeff McClain first came out at 10:03 in the morning, again, thanks a lot, Jeff. We're off the air. Now, it did set up today's show. So that is actually kind of a tip of the cap to Jeff McClain for hooking up with his old buddies for a full day of content. John Kincade then tweeted at 10:21, 18 minutes later. This was his first tweet. Giving up on the 2nd seed. Waving the white flag. That is something teams that have played much better and have a polished resume do. The 2025 Eagles do not. The talk of the rest benefit is non-quantifiable. So that's how he started. Now, if John were here, I would push back on some things. Because John has mentioned the resume more than anybody else, I believe, on this station, even more so than Bill Colarulo, which is saying something. And I'm not talking about resume like they won the Super Bowl last year. Connor, how many times has John mentioned the teams that the Eagles have beaten this year?
Yeah, I just looked it up. The Football Power Index from ESPN, which is essentially the strength of wins for the 2025 NFL season. The Eagles are 3rd.
Okay.
Pretty damn good resume.
That's pretty damn good. And John tells us about that. John wonders why I'm so worried about the playoffs when they have beaten all the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. I've heard him say that to me 600 times over the last 2 months. I don't understand the rest is non-quantifiable. I get it. Like, there's no exact science to it, but I would say if your body feels more fresh, that's better. I feel like I don't need a mathematical equation for that.
If you're healthy, you give yourself the best chance to make a postseason run, to field your best team, your strongest team. I think it's a smart move by the Eagles.
So somebody responded to him saying, we all literally saw Barkley get banged up a bit, Phillips banged up a bit, O-line has been banged up for weeks, but rest won't help them. That's interesting. To which he responded, so if you believe that, and you could be 100% correct, but the injury report says differently, you wouldn't have played them if the game meant something more definitive? I'm trying to understand this rest argument. What's more, like...
By the way, Jalen Phillips hasn't had a bye week all season.
Right, exactly, because he got traded to Philadelphia, missing the Miami bye, and the Eagles already had their bye week.
Right.
So
you don't think he could benefit from a week off, especially after he got sort of banged up a little bit in the Bills game?
I put out a tweet yesterday. Will you be awake tomorrow at 6 a.m.? Maybe you're sleeping in until 8. Heck, even if it's 9:45, we will be on the air, and we are. And I mentioned that you'll be with me. John Kincade responded. May tune in on the way to get coffee for Christina. Love you guys. Funny that you are not resting, but the Eagles are. He's very upset with the decision made by the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, I don't understand how somebody could be, like, angry with this.
It's for the betterment of the team, I believe, because health has to come first and foremost when you're looking at a postseason run. And the offensive line is going to benefit most from this. If you can't block, if you can't protect up front, you can't play offense, which means you have no shot. It all starts up front. I think the offensive line is going to be key, and resting someone like Landon Dickerson, who's had 4 or 5 different injuries throughout the season. Jordan Mailata has been banged up. Cam Jurgens, we all know, he had back surgery in February, shortly after the parade, and on a truncated offseason. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of reprieve. These guys are really going to benefit from that.
We also got Snarky John. T-Dog responded, the Saquon decision last year was actually controversial at one point, to which John responded with, yes, because that decision won the Super Bowl for them. I forgot. T-Dog then responded saying, judging decisions by results so silly, I forgot. And then John went back saying, judging results by decisions that cannot be directed to them most certainly is. You're right, John. There is no mathematical equation to say that resting the starters in Week 18 was the reason why you won the Super Bowl. That is correct. There is no formula to prove that. But I can tell you that it sure as hell helped. You were in the locker room.
Yes.
The players all spoke about it. The players themselves admitted that Week 18, even though Saquon wanted the record, he was on the record for wanting the record. The players said that Week 18, having that week off, benefited them.
Of course it did. And Saquon did want the record, but he understood that it's much bigger than him. It's much bigger than the goal. And Saquon's as big of a team guy as there is. And eventually, I mean, you saw them really be able to reap the benefits of rest. There's proof. There's evidence there.
There's
every game in the postseason. Well, I should say that Packers game, they look like a team that had rest, and they had a lot more energy.
Absolutely.
The first play of the game, Oren Burks.
Yeah, with the big hit.
With the forced fumble on the kickoff. They have a lot more juice as a result.
So John Kincade, his timeline was full of anger, vitriol, snark. He's not happy with the Eagles resting the starters on Sunday. Waving the white flag, he said.
I have a question on this for DeCecco coming up next on something like a hypothetical what if the Eagles were in a different situation that could give us a better tune of what the argument could be on the rest thing.
Okay, we'll get that question coming up next. Also, I mentioned it earlier in the show, but I'll say it again. There is one reason why people wanted the Eagles starters to start on Sunday that I just can't get behind. And we'll talk more about that coming up next. Also, Connor's question, your texts, and more 2025 trivia here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sitting down the starters, I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports, Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. The Eagles have made their decision for their Week 18 game against the Commanders this Sunday. According to a report from Jeff McClain yesterday, the plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale. So with the starters done until the playoffs, Nick Sirianni met with the media yesterday and talked about the defense and how they're peaking at the right time.
You know, obviously Vic and staff have done a really good job of coaching the guys, putting them in position to succeed, and we just continue to get better. And that's what you want to happen throughout the course of the year, is just continue to rise, and those guys have done that.
So the confidence in the defense is high, but is it with the offense? There are certainly questions there. And with the 2 seeds still in play, there's going to be debate on both sides of this rest versus play argument. But the Eagles have made their choice. Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night out in Calgary. Sam Harrison allowed 5 goals on 25 shots. They're off until Saturday. Sixers play the Mavericks tonight in Dallas at 8:30 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Connor Thomas has a question for football guy, Andrew. I mean, I'm right here. You could ask me this question at any point. But we also have a couple of text messages coming in. So we're getting your reaction to the Eagles deciding to rest starters. It was a debate that I thought was real. Last year, I did not think that was a real debate about whether or not they should go for a record. By the way, Saquon Barkley would have an extra game to break said record, which is why I kind of almost look at OJ's record before Eric Dickerson's record, but we also don't want to talk about OJ in a pleasant way. I I didn't think last year was debatable. Individual accomplishment versus overall team goals, you have said numerous times today, Andrew. This year, there was a real debate. Seeding versus rest. Last year was just accomplishment versus rest. This is seeding versus rest. One side or the other, there is a benefit to the Philadelphia Eagles. You get the 2 seed, there is a benefit to the Philadelphia Eagles. You rest your starters, there is a benefit to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's why this debate was actually real, in my opinion. But there are people that are angry with the decision, like our own John Kincade, which is why we went through his timeline in the previous segment. So be ready for tomorrow, Connor. I'm ready. I need to hear how it goes.
I'm ready to go.
I'm interested to see how more people react to this. What do we got on the text line at 610-632-0975?
Renee and Fox Chase will lead us off.
Is this Renee from our YouTube channel?
I believe so. It could be a different Renee, but this Renee says, I don't think we should rest. I understand the thinking, but I think we need to do all we can to help us get to the 2nd seed. And to be fair, hasn't the O-line been, quote-unquote, resting the entire season?
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah, that is unfair.
I believe that's an unfair comment. I believe they are banged up, and that's just me from the outside. You're even closer than I am. I think guys could use a week off. Look, the bye week is a big week in the regular season for people, right? Every player will tell you that the bye week is important. How many times have we talked about Nick Sirianni's record off a bye, by the way?
All the time.
All the time. They win, whether it's self-scouting week, whether it's the players just are better than the opposing team and an extra week of rest helps them. Like, the Eagles have benefited from a week off under Nick Sirianni throughout his entire career. They've not lost a game with an additional week off except for Super Bowl 57 and the playoff game against the Bucs when they rested the stars against the Cowboys and lost by like 80.
Yeah, that was
a totally different team in 2021, and you lost to a dynasty in the Super Bowl in 2022-23, right?
And they outplayed them
and
for
they
most of the
outplayed,
game.
right, exactly. So the Eagles, under Nick Sirianni, with an extra week of rest, more often than not, way more often than not, have come out on top. And so I think that's the best thing for them. I understand if you don't want to face certain teams in the first round. I understand if you think the Packers are an easier matchup than the 49ers or the Rams. Vegas agrees with you. The Eagles are still the favorites against San Francisco, but slight. And they are not the favorites against the Rams, if that's what the matchup is in the first round. So I understand why somebody would rather face the Packers, the path to least resistance, right? But if you're banged up, you're banged up. And I think they benefit from rest. What else we got on the text line?
James in Pottsville checks in. Now, I know Pottstown. I'm not familiar with Pottsville. But he says our 2nd and 3rd string players are going to defeat the Washington Commanders anyway. Happy New Year, guys.
All right.
Happy New Year to you,
Happy New Year to you, too. All right, what's your question for football guy Andrew?
So maybe you have a sense on this. It's kind of hypothetical, so if it's just conjecture, I don't want you to throw something out that they don't believe. But if this was a game where, let's say, the Bears situation doesn't exist, and it was just Eagles win Week 18 over the Commanders, they are the 2 seed with no additional help needed. Do you get the sense that they would play the players in that situation?
That might be a little bit different. Yeah, that might be a little bit of a different approach. It's cut and dried. You're playing an inferior team, and you're guaranteed in your scenario, Connor, the 2 seed, right?
Yeah, because to me, some of this argument for people who don't want to see them rest is like, John said, it, giving up, waving the white flag. It doesn't feel like the Eagles are giving up. Like if they had a true, hey, we win this game, we have it.
Yeah.
My gut feel would be that they'd go for it, right?
Yeah, and to be clear, the Eagles aren't approaching, for those thinking that they're waving the white flag, I assure you they're not approaching this game like it's week 3 of the preseason. They're going out there with every intention to win. And it's not like you're going to be seeing all these 11 practice squad call-ups, right? I mean, there's always so many players you can afford to deactivate. Some are going to have to dress, some are going to have to play. And their approach is going to be on the attack. I would expect to see not a team looking to just run the ball and play out the string here. They're going to try to put up points, and they're going to try and get out of there with the win.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, that is the best case scenario.
Sure.
Where the backups go in and win. Now, I'm curious. Like, let's talk about this. How different does the offense look because it's Tanner McKee at quarterback?
I think it's going to look considerably different.
You can't do the same things that Jalen can do.
I mean, just look at so we have the evidence that we have to go off of is last season, and granted, it is a small sample size, but you look at the Giants and the Cowboys game, right, from last season, and the offense was different. I mean, Tanner McKee went 30 of 45 for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns combined for those 2 games, right? And the passing game looked a lot different, but Tanner McKee doesn't represent that +1 in the running game,
Sure.
and he's not mobile, so you're going to be prone to taking more sacks. So that should also be taken into account this week as well with backup offensive linemen that he's going to be going up against. He's not going to be able to have that escapability that Jalen has, but I can tell you that processing, getting the ball out of his hands quicker, and facilitating the ball to the plethora of weapons that are out there, you're going to see a lot of that.
At what point does somebody say Tanner McKee should be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Before the game.
Somebody will tweet it. Yeah.
Probably.
Someone probably already has.
All right, you said Cowboys and Giants. This is how insane Andrew DeCecco's brain is. Let's see how close you are. What were the numbers you gave for Tanner McKee last year?
30 of 45 for 323 and 4 touchdowns.
That is spot on.
See, all the space in my brain
That is absurd, dude.
that's taken up by knowing what a labubu is, he uses it for actual football information. This is why he's the best.
That's insane that you got that. How many times did he get sacked?
Oh, man. 4.
Only 2 times. This guy doesn't know. It's a lot. Let's go to Greg in Bethlehem. Greg, you're on the Fanatic. What's up, Greg? Good morning. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you guys. Andrew just touched a lot on what I was thinking about. McKee, from what I have seen, seems like he gets the ball out on time more often. And, does that open up the slants and the square ends and things like that are more timing plays where he might be able to throw guys open? I realize he can't escape, but if he can get the ball out, 1, 2, 3 balls out, he's probably not going to get sacked too much. So I'm just wondering about that. It seems like it opens up some additional options.
Yeah, it's going to. And let's not forget, going with Jahan Dotson and Darius Cooper and Britton Covey, those are players that he reps with every week in practice. He's not repping with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and he does get the ball out quicker. He has a quick trigger, and I think timing and processing and delivery are something that you're going to see a lot from him. He can do different things. He doesn't have the athletic factor, but there are a lot of things from a passing game perspective that I think you'll look at it and say, This is a pretty well functioning operation. He's also 6'6",
Right.
so he can see over the offensive lineman. Doesn't necessarily have to navigate it like Jalen or a lot of quarterbacks would, and I think that also plays into it as well.
Is Tanner McKee a starting quarterback one day in the NFL?
Yes.
Is he a bridge, or is he like a team will try to start something with him?
Well, I would ordinarily say bridge because we haven't seen enough, but you look at the state of quarterback
It's
play.
bad.
I mean, Max Brosmer is. I mean, look at the quarterbacks who started on Christmas Day. You mean to tell me that Tanner McKee isn't better than some of those guys, or at least have more upside than some of those guys?
Who knows what
I'm inclined to think
the Colts,
yes.
Like, are the Colts? Think about this for a second. The Colts. I don't know when Daniel Jones is back.
But they're starting Riley Leonard. Like Tanner McKee's better.
Philip Rivers
than
isn't
Riley
going to be
Leonard.
back next year. Could Tanner McKee be the starting quarterback for a couple of weeks in Indianapolis? And oh, by the way, how real was Daniel Jones? Like, you know how I felt every
Fair
week.
point.
I was calling him fraud watch for a long time.
I don't know what's Andrew Luck doing next year.
He might be available. He might come out of retirement too. Like I think the Saints thing's done because I think Tyler Shuck has shown enough where
Yes.
they're going to build something off of him, because that was the big team that everybody thought Tanner McKee would get traded to, with Kellen Moore, the bridge to Tyler Shuck, because what's his face?
Spencer Rattler.
He sucks. He's such a bad quarterback.
But like you got the Dolphins starting Quinn Ewers.
yeah.
Max Brosmer was starting games.
Who knows what
they
the
had
Jets
to bring?
do?
They had to bring a 44-year-old Philip Rivers out of retirement. I mean, just based off of the state of quarterback play, the NFL is telling you that there is a shortage of quarterbacks that are capable of starting or higher level guys, and I think Tanner McKee can certainly do that. This is a big game not only for the Eagles, but also for Tanner McKee to put some more tape out there.
Oh,
some more
absolutely.
recent tape based off of some of the things that he's been working on since he last played.
Next year's his final year of his deal with the Eagles. Unless teams that offering a king's ransom. I imagine he's the backup quarterback because he's a very cheap option and an option that you trust. And then we see where Tanner McKee goes at the age of 27. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, here's a trivia question. 2025 trivia. We had just ended that year. How much do you guys remember? This pop star went into space for 11 minutes on Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Lady Gaga.
That would be
Katy Perry. Katy Perry.
Oh, he doesn't get two?
Yes, he does.
Why does he get two?
Because it's 2-1 now.
Unbelievable.
And it's more entertaining.
Cooking
that
the
way.
books.
Yeah, so Katy Perry
I just said it faster than you.
for 11 minutes was up in space. Connor's up 2-1 right now in 2025 trivia. All right, coming up next. We got today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up at 8:10. I found probably the most random yet in-depth sports website ever this morning. I didn't even tell you guys about it before the show. This is something that I wanted to save for the air. I'm not joking when I say most random yet in-depth website ever when it comes to sports. How good or bad do we have it here in Philadelphia when it comes to sports? We'll go through this next. I can't wait. 97.5 The Fanatic. Main topic today, your reaction to the Eagles resting their starters for this upcoming game against the Commanders. There's still the best case scenario where they rest their starters, still win, Bears lose, they get the 2 seed. Or odds are they finish with the 3 seed, and I know that there are people upset with that. I want them to go in as healthy as possible. That, to me, is the only chance they will go on some sort of run, is if this offensive line can get push up front. We're talking about that. We have 2025 trivia that Andrew DeCecco and Connor Thomas are going head-to-head with right now. Connor's got a 2-1 lead over DeCecco. But before we continue any of that, I found the most random website this morning. I can't even tell you what I Googled to find it. I think I was looking for something specific, and then I got lost in this website.
Can we say this on air?
Yes.
Okay.
Ask Jeeves.
Oh, dude, that was a great one. Real quick, I got distracted. The other day, Coop, I was playing some game with him, and he was saying, "Go Daddy, go Daddy," and it immediately made me think when I was a teenager, the GoDaddy.com commercials.
Danica Patrick.
As a teenager, the Super Bowl commercials were fun when the GoDaddy commercials aired. I don't think they do that as much anymore. Do they still do the GoDaddy.com commercial? Is that even a website anymore?
I don't know. It was like a website builder, and now everyone has like an AI algorithm to build the websites, and it's so commonplace. I don't think they have a need in the market
websites
anymore.
had nothing, or the commercials had nothing to do with the websites. But I like the commercials. The website is called champsorchumps.com. Very random. It's from the creators of screwball.com. Never heard of them.
No.
When I tell you it's the most in-depth website when it comes to sports that I've ever seen, I'm not just lying to you. So it tells you over the last 20 years if your city is a champ or a chump. And they have this whole algorithm. Regular season wins, playoff success, the amount of teams in your city, that weighs the score one way or another. Like LA, they have all 11 teams. They don't just have, the top ones. They have all 11 teams from Los Angeles. There's also a tab where you can put your own personal fan report card in it. So the question is, what year did your fandom start? So I did not put in 1993, the year of my birth, because I was not breaking down the Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, or Flyers in 93. So I put around 99 because my first memories was the 2001 Sixers run.
Okay.
But I put 99 down. So Sixers, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies. If you started being a fan, so Connor, you would probably be around the same time as me, 1999. Your overall grade is calculated by comparing your team's outcomes with the 755,160 other possible combinations of teams that you could have chosen. Like, this is how and it spit out the information like that. So, if you're a fan since 99, championships, the grade was a C. Okay, Phillies won a World Series, and the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls. Okay.
C's get degrees, baby.
C's get degrees, baby. That's my life. Regular season success, B+. Eagles have had a lot of great successful regular seasons.
Yeah. Sixers
have had a lot of great successful regular seasons. They also lost on purpose for 5 years. Phillies were not in the playoffs for 10 straight years. So B+ is actually pretty good knowing what we've gone through in stretches. Playoff success, just a C+. Suffering. They told us that we are suffering a tad. But our current trajectory is way up, which I agree. We just talked about how in 2026, we might see 4 playoff appearances for the first time since 2010. I love this website. Our overall grade is a B. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll take that.
I've talked about how we don't have it that bad. I understand we have some very painful losses, like Kawhi, the shot against the Sixers.
Yeah, that Kawhi.
The way Super Bowl 57 ended was painful. The way the Phillies lost to the Astros in Game 6 with the Jose Alvarado home run was painful.
Even go back to the last game with the Vet.
Like, we have had some very painful losses. But pain comes because you had expectations. Pain comes because you had previous success getting to those moments. So, over the last 20 years, where do you guys think Philadelphia ranks among 54 qualifying cities? in the United States of America, champ or chump over the last 20 years?
Probably like 6 or 7.
I'll say 9.
Pick one.
Let's go 7.
6.
Damn it.
Philadelphia ranks 6th for overall championship score. Los Angeles is number 1, but again, they have 11 teams. Kansas City is number 2 because you had all the years of the Chiefs. But remember, the Royals won a World Series and got to another one, right? Didn't they get to 2 World Series
they got
with
to
that
2.
squad?
Beat the Mets and then lost 1 to someone.
This sounds crazy because you were thinking, who? Miami is 3rd, but you had the years with LeBron and the Heat, and they won. How many titles did they win? 2?
3, I thought.
They won 3 titles. This one's confusing me. Vegas is 4th. The Golden Knights won 1, but that's it.
Yeah, but they've got such a short history, I think, by...
So the weighted score,
Yeah.
that's why. Denver is 5th and Philadelphia is 6th. We don't have it that bad.
You want some perspective here because I grew up in a split household. I know in this area not everybody does that.
You want to know where Minnesota is on that list?
It's better.
Or
I put it all in.
Minneapolis?
I went to the website and I plugged in my mom and brother's teams because they're 4 for 4 Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Wild, Vikings, Twins, Timberwolves. F- championships. C for regular season success. F- playoff success. Suffering extreme. Overall F- report card.
Minneapolis, by the way, for the last 20 years, they come in at 23. They come in 23rd on this list, and Philadelphia is 6th. So to put things into perspective from your family's household, it's great to know. I wonder how many people would check this website out. Champs or chumps.com.
It's cool.
Isn't it
That is
amazing?
pretty cool.
It's the most random website that I've ever seen, but it's something that I know that I can use moving forward forever. Because whenever people talk about how rough we have very painful moments, very painful, that I don't know how many other cities can go through and keep on coming back the next year the way that we do. But we don't have it that bad.
And you have the data to prove it.
I do. Right here in front of me. All right, coming up next. If you've been following me through the years here on The Fanatic, you will know of a prediction that I made in December of 2019. If you don't remember or you don't know what it was, I will tell you what that prediction was next. Because we've now officially crossed the midway point of the decade, where it's now 2026. Are my dreams still alive? I'll tell you what that is next. Your text messages as well. More 2025 trivia here on Kincade Salciunas. Johnny back tomorrow. 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, giving all customers a profit boost every college playoff game day. That means more chances to level up your picks and turn big moments into even bigger wins. Ride with the favorite. Take a shot on the underdog. Maybe some of you did that with Miami yesterday. I wouldn't have done it. I lost. Or you might build a parlay. You got 3 games today to build. Then apply your profit boost and go for bigger winnings. Georgia, 6.5-point favorites against Ole Miss. I like Georgia to win that game and move on. I think the fun story of Ole Miss with all the Lane Kiffin drama comes to an end tonight. Just visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. That's FanDuel.com/Fanatic to get your college playoff profit boost today. FanDuel's the best place to get into college football playoff action all playoff long. And when you win, you get paid instantly. You got to be 21 plus, present Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-travel profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
McKee starting Sunday. I'm Connor Thomas. And the Eagles made their decision yesterday for their Week 18 game against the Commanders when it comes to who's going to be playing. According to a report from Jeff McClain, the plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale. So with the starters done until the playoffs, Nick Sirianni met with media yesterday, and he did admit there are still things that the offense needs to learn from.
Obviously, we're all pissed that we didn't execute and coach as well as we needed to in the second half of that Buffalo game. But I really looked at it as like, man, there's some opportunities here that we can really get better from. And that's got to be the constant mindset you have.
So, is it the right decision to rest starters with stuff still to figure out? With the 2 seed still in play as well, there's certainly going to be debate on both sides of the argument. Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night in Calgary. Sam Harrison allowed 5 goals on 25 shots. Not a great night for him. They're off till Saturday. Sixers take on the Mavericks in Dallas tonight at 8:30. They're looking to build off their overtime win in Memphis on Tuesday. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. And a wild upset win for the Miami Hurricanes last night in the college football playoff, who knocked off the defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes 24-14. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
$7:54 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic. Giant of the K back tomorrow. Giant of the K furious that the Eagles are resting their starters, waving the white flag, he says. We'll see. I think we will see the Eagles win on Sunday. I don't know about the Bears-Lions game, but I do believe we could see the Eagles win on Sunday.
You kidding me? Tank Bigsby and Will Shipley, they're going to tear it up.
Army-Navy backfield, man. I'm telling you.
They are going to tear it up.
You got first-round pick Jahan Dotson on the outside, where Tanner McKee has already had a lot of success with.
The receiving star in this game is going to be Darius Cooper. I'm telling you right now.
I'm excited to see it. By the way, the Bears are 3-point favorites in their game against the Lions.
Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. But you know what you're doing to me right now? This is like at the rodeo when they slap the bull on the ass before he goes out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up there with my hat up like, yo, stop hitting this thing. Like, John's going to come in tomorrow now even more mad.
Yeah, but I'm warming you up. I have already given you his opinion on the matter. He has already been very vocal about it on social media. So you can prepare yourself to fight back now.
This is the Andrew throws the grenade and takes the day off show.
Absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. I told you, I already gave you the information of every playoff scenario. I will give you my chicken scratch that I have, and you can have it ready tomorrow because John himself has talked about the Eagles could beat any team and resume this and resume that, even though he did tweet out yesterday the Eagles don't have the resume to take Week 18 off. contradicts a little bit what he says earlier in the year, but he believes that the Eagles could beat any team. And so if that's the case, I have every single path for you. And every path, the Eagles should come out on top. For those of you who are confident the Eagles offense will find some sort of life, which I don't believe that they will, and I did not believe a Week 18 would all of a sudden solve all the mysteries of the Eagles offense.
Yeah, just come in here poised tomorrow, Connor.
Ready to go,
you'll be all right.
I got it. I don't even need the numbers. I'll do it a cappella. Let's go.
Like, you know what you are? You're Rocky. In Rocky 1, even though technically you lost the fight, but, if we rescored it,
Well, maybe it'll be Rocky 2, a different outcome.
Could be, but John Kincaid's going to, come in here like, this guy. You already have the ammo, so you got to catch him off guard.
You gas me up, Mick? Let's go.
Let's go.
We're gassing you up, man. You got this.
We already had a Rocky reference before the show. Connor didn't want to come over to my house. And then I said, what's wrong with my house? My house stinks. That's right, it stinks. Thanks a lot, Connor.
You're the oldest 31-year-old. Or are you 32?
Rocky's a great I am 32 now. Rocky's a great movie.
I like Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is awesome.
You and Rocky 4, it's amazing.
The montage.
The Rocky hatred, I think, I understand why, because people are tired of it in sports. Like, it's always Rocky. But, Rocky's still a great movie. All right, I made a prediction back in December of 2019. Do you remember what it was, Connor, or do you know of it? Because I think I brought it up at some point on this show.
I remember it from reading the show sheet 2 seconds ago. But other than that, no, I do not.
All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. So in December of 2019, I was the midday producer with my man Anthony Gargano. It was cousin Chunas. Not cousin Chunas, Cuz and Chunas. And it was the end of the decade. So we were doing a lot of 2020 stuff. And Anthony termed the phrase the Roaring 20s. We would have our own version of the Roaring 20s where, because the Sixers were coming out of the process, the Flyers would eventually figure things out, which it went a totally different direction, but we're seeing them, become a legitimate team now. Not Stanley Cup finalists, but a legitimate team now. We knew the Eagles were going to be good in a different way. That was with Carson. Remember, this is still Carson Wentz, 10-year franchise quarterback. That took a bit of a turn, but it's worked out for the Eagles. And the Phillies, we all assumed at some point they got to get out of this. And Bryce signed that offseason?
He was 2019, so he had been here already.
So he was already here. So I expected at some point Bryce to be good. So that's why Anthony termed the phrase the Roaring 20s, to which I made the prediction, including the Union, that we would see 9 championship appearances in this decade. We have seen 4, 5. We've seen 5. Phillies, 2 Eagles, and the Union. So we've seen 4. We're 5 away. That's what it is. Do you believe that we could see 5 championship appearances? Appearances, not victories, appearances by the end of this decade. We're basically midway there through the midway point. What do you guys think?
I think you'll see maybe a couple more from the Eagles.
2 more appearances.
With this nucleus that they have intact, with this young defense, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and all that, and Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, that infrastructure I think is pretty secure. Phillies, I'm not optimistic. I do not love what they're doing, and they could have some years of undoing. They have to undo a lot of the contracts and start to really build it back up, I think. Sixers, maybe. I'm optimistic with Maxey and Edgecombe.
Sure.
I'll give them 1.
It's amazing because I'm trying to think back to where I was in 2019, right? I thought the Phillies would probably make 2 appearances. It's hard in baseball. Baseball's a hard sport to continuously get back to, but I thought that they could make 2. They've made 1, and I think that's all we're going to get. I don't think this group's going to get back to a World Series.
Yeah, I agree.
Sixers, the NBA is the sport where you could go to, once you get to 1, you can get to multiple. The Sixers not getting to 1 yet to this point really hurts my case. I don't think they're going to get to 1 with this squad.
You don't think there's enough time
I don't.
for them to build it back up?
I don't, because eventually the Embiid-George thing is just not going to work. this year's better than last year in the very limited games that they played together, 5. Eventually it's going to crash, and then you're going to have to completely rebuild. And you have some good pieces to start with, but how long will it take until they're a formidable opponent?
They're going to be the wire team because the Clippers pick in, 28?
Yeah.
Is going to be really good. And if that's a guy you can put around Maxey, and then 29, maybe they find something. Like, I don't know.
Maybe. And it carries into 30. So it's the 29.
Oh, we're counting it?
29 into 30 season. Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, we're going to get like 20.
Because I didn't count 19 to 20. So the Sixers, to your point, maybe one. I don't think so. I
would
think
say
unlikely.
maybe one for them, and then possibly 2 with the Eagles. I'm including this year.
I think the Flyers, other than the Eagles, have the best chance of getting back to another one, or getting to another one. So the Eagles, if they get to 2 more, that would get us to 6. Championship appearances. Could the Flyers get us to 1 to make it 7?
NHL also one where we've seen all of these repeat matchups in the Stanley Cup Finals. So you
Sure.
can make the same argument.
And you know hockey's a
back.
crapshoot in the playoffs. You could be the final seed and make it to the
Not
cup
if you're
final.
the Panthers and Oilers,
Sure,
apparently.
that's true too.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's still likely. It's something that I said back in 2019. We are at the midway point in terms of championship appearances, but I think we got to 4 pretty quickly, and then it kind of slowed down after that, or will slow down after that.
So what do you think?
I don't think we.
But if you had to put a number on it,
I'll say 6. 6 is what I feel most comfortable with. To say the Eagles are going to get back to 2 more Super Bowls, I don't think it's unlikely. It's just I'm asking a lot. I'm asking for them to carry the weight.
yeah.
4 appearances in a decade? That's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, if you look at what the Patriots and Chiefs have done, it's not out of the realm of possibility if they're able to keep that infrastructure in place.
Yeah. But I don't see the Phillies or Sixers doing it.
I think it depends on if you think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year is the deciding factor for the rest of this. Because who's getting better in the NFC right now? The Rams are a really good team. Stafford's ancient. Sam Darnold is not going to all of a sudden be like this Hall of Fame career quarterback.
Bears are getting better. This is year 1 of Ben Johnson, year 2 of Caleb Williams in his career.
Next season, the Bears are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They will be. They'll be. I look at them as a team on the cusp right now. They're young, but you see Ben Johnson really coming into his own as a coach. Caleb Williams, I mean, the arm talent is incredible.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better, and they have a lot of young pieces there on defense that I like.
If the Packers can figure out like a wide receiver, they'd be dangerous.
Yeah, but I think we already kind of know what Jordan Love is, and they're not going to move off him.
He's a quality quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a quality quarterback.
Jalen Hurts is better than Jordan Love. Come on now.
They're both quality quarterbacks. You could talk about moments in like big games. But they are both quality quarterbacks.
By the way, with Jordan Love, is there an update on his health status?
With the concussion protocol? I think, didn't they say he's not playing this week? Because they don't need this game.
No, they don't need
They're
this.
locked
This
in,
game
yeah.
means nothing for them. They're the 7th seed regardless of how anything goes. So
I'll look it up real quick.
I would imagine that they're just going to
So
sit him.
he should be ready to roll.
He's been banged up this year.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
has.
just been the concussion. He had a knee injury, he had a hand injury at one point. So I think it would be best for them to just kind of chill out a little bit.
You don't think they're waving the white flag?
No, I
by
don't
not
think-
playing him.
No, I don't believe so.
Both Jordan Love and Malik Willis apparently practiced yesterday, so they're good.
Yeah, Jordan Love practiced, but
No, not playing, but just injury status wise, they're
Right,
going to
gotcha.
be fine.
I didn't know what the timeline was.
okay. We got any text messages on the docket there at 610-632-0975, Connor?
We are a little bit late. We've got a couple people just saying Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year
which
to you, too.
we
Happy New
always
Year.
appreciate. DeKalin from Podunk, PA. I don't know if that's just a descriptor or a real town.
DeKalin.
Says, yes, it was the right move to rest the starters. The backups led by McKee should be able to still put BTA on the Bum-Manders. I haven't heard that one yet. That's good work. Getting the second seed is beyond our control with the Bears needing to lose. Bozos, Patullo, and Sirianni would figure squat out in Week 18 even with the starters.
I was with you until you said bozos at the end there because I don't agree with that. But DeKalin, that's not DeKalin Metcalf, I assume.
No, oh my God, that was.
I don't know.
That was interesting.
Maybe that's an alias. I got to scroll back in the text.
I haven't really been able to follow up with you. I mean, we got your immediate reaction on Monday when you called in after the Bills game.
Yeah.
But what the hell happened in the second half?
Well,
Now that you've had more time to study it.
yeah, I mean, the offensive line didn't perform well, but I thought that they were running into a lot of stack boxes. and square peg, round hole type of thing. It clearly wasn't working. I didn't think the play calling was good enough, frankly.
No, I didn't either.
And that's something that we've seen at various points this season where they're able to string together one half and not necessarily be able to have that correlate to more success. And I think some of that has to do with adjusting and not being able to counter with what the opposition's doing, to adjust to what you're doing. And I think you look at the sequencing and the feel for the game. I honestly, that I've never been one to just pin it on coaching or players.
No, I know you have not.
But this game against the Buffalo Bills, I look at coaching, and I don't think the Eagles were good enough there. You could look at the offensive line. They couldn't run the football. There's too many negative runs, too many missed assignments. That's not going to win you many football games. But you have to find something else. Like, I'm not a big fan of bubble screens or things like that. But when your quarterback's 0 for 7, you have to find that. That's incumbent on you as the play caller and as the head coach, because Nick Sirianni's included in this.
Absolutely.
To find something to get your quarterback into a rhythm.
How
'Cause
included
sometimes
is he? Because how included is Sirianni? Because I hear him. Kevin did a great job in the first half, but I did a bad job in the second half. Like, what is that?
Maybe I don't know. I think he is, as a CEO, head coach, involved, of course, but and sort of helping navigate the offense, if that makes sense. Because when it's not going well and you're the head coach, it behooves you to step in there, and help try to give it some direction. Because if it doesn't work out, it's on you. At the end of the day, he says everything that's on the football field is a product of me. And when it's not going well, you have to say, okay.
I think he stuck up for his guy. I think to say Kevin did a great job in the first half because the offense looked better in the first half, and then I was the reason why I was bad in the second half, that's sticking up for your guy. That's how I take it. When Patullo says we ran the football just to ran the football, what did you make of that?
Not great. I think that, I'm not even going to try to figure out what that meant. But
it's not crazy to say, hey, we're running the football here, to then maybe set up a play action or a pass play. But then he further says, I get into Jalen's ear and say we're just running the ball here, and does not allow him to check out of the play. Like, that's stupid. I know you don't want to say or what was the texter, moronic behavior? Bozo behavior. I know you don't want to say bozo behavior. That's a bozo thing to do. You're telling your quarterback to go to the line of scrimmage and be like, oh, man, this play is not going to work. But coach told me we got to run it. That's dumb.
Yeah, I put a lot of the shortcomings against the Bills on play calling and coaching, and just in-game feel, if that makes sense.
Sense.
You look across all of the games. I don't know that you can always. I think a lot of it is unfair to put it on purely coaching. I think player execution. There's missed opportunities from the quarterback that sometimes aren't capitalized on. But that Buffalo game was not on Jalen.
No, I thought he was spectacular in the first half.
He was.
With
he was
all the
excellent.
conditions. Yeah, in
fact,
amazing.
that throw in the tight window to Devontae Smith, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that might have been the best throw of his career.
That's awesome.
I thought that was an excellent pass.
Yeah, they got to figure something out. They don't have much time to do it.
He was super aggressive in that first half.
Yeah.
And really, since the Chargers game, a willingness to fit the ball into tight windows.
All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Looking forward to that. And then at the bottom of the hour, there was a list, a 2025 list of sports that drove Philadelphia nuts. You'll hear that later on the 8 o'clock hour. But first, today's headlines with Connor Thomas next here on The Fanatic. 97.5 The Fanatic. Johnny off today. He'll be back tomorrow. Andrew DeCecco filling in for him today. Happy New Year to you all. I did make it up to midnight, by the way, last night. I said I was not going to, but I made it up till midnight, and I'll explain why, because I know we're going to get into today's headlines, and I believe you're going to be bringing up the big show, the big finale from yesterday. I watched said finale, and it was 11:15 at night when it ended, and I was basically like, am I going to fall asleep? So I basically laid in bed until the fireworks went off.
What, you were watching New Year's Rockin' Eve?
No,
Andy
I didn't.
Cohen, drunk again.
No, I didn't watch anything. I laid in darkness, hoping to fall asleep, but knowing that in the back of my mind, I will be woken up as soon as I fall asleep. And sure enough, pop, 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 pop. Air horns were big in my neighborhood yesterday. The air horn.
That's pleasant.
It's not at all, especially when your child gets woken up by said air horn. But
What do you
get
think
it.
I was doing until midnight? I was sitting outside your house.
No,
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
probably-
exactly.
Connor was one of the guys
were
that
the
were
one
out
with
there
the
with the
air
pots and pans.
All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by the Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. So if you had air horns going off outside your house last night and you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit lundylaw.com. That's lundylaw.com. We'll start off with a big game that went down yesterday that I completely misread. Miami took down Ohio State, knocking off the defending champs. Here's what it sounded like at the end of the TV broadcast.
The Miami Hurricanes, from the jump, were physical. They brought the fight to Ohio State. And they've closed this game the same way they started it, with that defensive line being relentless and getting after Julian Sane.
You were not the only one completely off on that. I was too. I said yesterday on the show that Miami's got a good defense. Clearly they held Ohio State to 14 points, but I did not think they'd be able to hold them to enough points for Miami to score more than. Very much like the Eagles. So maybe anything can happen. Maybe that's what my lesson was learned yesterday. When the pick six happened in the second quarter, you immediately go, uh-oh, if you're a Buckeyes fan, because they did nothing in the first half. Miami goes up 7-0 in the first quarter. Miami goes up 7-0 in the second quarter. Then the pick six happens, and you're saying, oh, damn. And then they win 24-14. This benefits to the NCAA more than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think you talk about that interception. That definitely turned the tide, but it looked like Ohio State was tight in that game.
The NCAA won yesterday, more so than the Miami Hurricanes. You know why?
Why is that?
One, vindication for the committee.
Oh, that's fair.
Because they picked Miami over Notre Dame. Not saying Notre Dame could not have done what Miami did yesterday, but Miami has now upset two teams in the college football playoff. And the fact that Miami has upset two teams in the college football playoff gives the NCAA a win. Because the last couple of years, it's been kind of no surprises, right? I don't think anybody's been really surprised by the two teams in the championship or the teams that win it.
Nah, it's pretty much chalk.
This has been a surprise that Miami has now knocked off two teams ahead of them. The NCAA won big time yesterday.
Hell, give Tulane another shot. What are you saying? Let's get real weird.
Tulane's one of my college teams.
I love
Tulane.
The one change is we don't need to gift certain conferences a spot in the playoff. Tulane doesn't need to be in it. JMU doesn't need to be in it. But maybe Notre Dame is the 11th seed. Like, put the 12 best teams in college football in the college football playoff. And with the way NILs and portals and all this stuff is happening, it makes it a little bit more possible that a 10 seed could win. And we've seen it now. Miami's now won their two games in the playoff.
Yeah, we definitely have. Now, we can't fix the college football playoff if you're trying to do that. We may have to fix some knees here around the NBA. Some big-time hyperextension watch in the NBA. So earlier this week, Nikola Jokic goes down with a hyperextended knee. He's going to miss at least 4 weeks. And then yesterday, Victor Wembanyama goes down also with a knee hyperextension. Now, he said after the game, he's fine. Could even play the next game potentially. Now, that's his word, so we'll see if they hold him out. That's two big-time names in the NBA, and losing those guys, that's not good for business for the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, look, they'll be fine. Nobody cares about the regular season anyway. Nikola Jokic was the surprise, right, because he doesn't miss time. The least amount of games he's ever played in his career was 69 games in 2022. He has played in at least 70 games in every season of his career. He's been in the league since 2015-16. Wemby's not a surprise. With his giraffe legs, like, it's not a surprise. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy that you hope from a basketball fan standpoint, forget Sixers, from a basketball fan standpoint that he can control his body and not be clinically injured like Joel Embiid, right? Like, you hope from a basketball standpoint because the dude's a stud.
Yeah.
He's worth every price of admission, every bit of hype that he got going into the draft, even more so since he's gotten to the NBA. But when you're that lanky, you never know. You got to learn your body.
That's all right. Load management is in his future. And all
the problem with him is he's also more down low. Like Durant is up top.
Yeah. Well, load management's in all of our future at this point. Time's undefeated.
It's in my future, too.
We'll wrap up with this. Now, no spoilers. No spoilers. Andrew Salciunas, don't you dare.
I won't.
But I know that you watched the finale of Stranger Things. There may be people who did not get to it yesterday.
I won't spoil. I know exactly what to say. It was a very good ending. Ending shows is always extremely difficult, especially shows that are loved so much, like a Stranger Things. I know I'm watching The Sopranos right now. I know how it ends. I know that was a controversial ending.
No spoilers on Sopranos.
There's never going to be an ending where everybody's going to say that was perfect. I thought it was a pretty good ending. The one thing I said to Connor before the show started, because you didn't watch it, there were very little wow moments in the finale. Like, there were very little moments where I was like, whoa. And that's kind of a bummer because throughout the course of that show, all 5 seasons, there were a lot of moments where you were like, damn. Didn't get that much of it yesterday. Okay. It was just it was a nice ending to the story with little wow moments in a 2-hour episode.
All right, fair enough. So there's your Stranger Things review without spoilers. Go ahead and watch it if you haven't, because there's going to be spoilers all over Twitter.
Look,
I've never seen an episode of it.
It's a good show. It's a good show. I know people that are not into sci-fi that like it. My dad, very anti-sci-fi, loves the show. I talked to Harry Mays the other day. Did not know Harry Mays was a sci-fi guy. He told me it was he just watched the first 2 episodes ever of the show.
Wow.
And he said it's the best 2 episodes of television he's ever watched.
Maybe I'm intrigued now. Maybe I'll have to
check it out. It's a really good show, and there's a nostalgic feel to it too.
Yeah,
it's based in the '80s.
Oh well, then yeah.
I thought it was a nice ending. Just not many. There was one moment, and I told Connor, text me if you think it is what it is when he watches it, where I said, "Wow." One moment. All right, coming up next. There was a list that caught Philadelphia by storm yesterday. All the publications are doing the top 10 lists of 2025. What were the top 10 moments in the NFL according to Fox Sports? We'll go through it next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles prioritizing rest. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. The Eagles have made their decision on Week 18, and they are choosing to prioritize rest. According to a report from Jeff McClain yesterday, the plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale against the Commanders. Nick Sirianni met with the media yesterday, and he talked about the good side of the coin, which is the defense peaking at the right time.
Obviously, Vic and staff have done a really good job of coaching the guys, putting them in position to succeed, and we just continue to get better, and that's what you want to happen throughout the course of the year, is just continue to rise, and those guys have done that.
But with the offensive struggles, is it the right decision, especially with the 2 seeds still in play? There's certainly debate on both sides. The Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night out in Calgary. They're off till Saturday. Sixers play the Mavericks tonight in Dallas. An 8:30 p.m. tip-off that you can hear live here on The Fanatic. As we were talking about in the headlines, a wild upset in the college football playoff last night. 10-seed Miami knocking off defending champion Ohio State 24-14. This update's also brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All
right, no shot either of you get this one. 2025 trivia, the year that just ended. Connor is up 2-1. We've had so much going on that I've not been able to ask many questions for you. What was the top book published in 2025?
Leap Year by our friend Zach Berman.
That's a great answer,
pick.
but incorrect. That is more Philadelphia-based.
Can we get the genre?
Yeah, because I still don't think you'll get it. Romantasy.
The Housemaid.
No, but I know that.
That movie's out. Like that's based off a book. I'm not exactly sure if that was the name of the
Yes, that's
book.
got Connor's girlfriend in it, Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, yeah.
She's great in
What
the
up,
movie.
baby girl?
She's great in the movie.
She's
so
great
is,
in everything.
I'm guessing you guys don't
Seyfried's
have an
good,
answer?
too.
Nah, I got no clue.
The book is called Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros.
Right on the tip of my tongue.
So
I almost
she's got, I don't know if it's trilogy or
I was getting to
however,
that,
however
yeah.
many books it's been. My wife is obsessed with it. All right? Obsessed. I did not realize how big it was until I read this. Next week or 2 weeks from now, the Sixers and Flyers are both doing a Rebecca Yarros Day.
What?
And my wife's like, can you please help me get tickets? And I'm like, of course. Like, it's one of her things that she loves. I did not realize it's become that big that it and the tickets sold out immediately. That's a world that I know I'm not a big reader to begin with, but that's a world that I have no idea.
Maybe 2026 will be the year where you start to indulge in some
in
reading.
romantasies. Sure.
Just reading in general,
Sounds
like
good.
books.
I read one book in 2025, and you guys should both know it completely off the top of your head.
The
The
Bible.
Green Eggs and Ham.
No, think Eagles.
Leap Year by Zach Berman.
I'll check that one out, too.
The media guide.
Inner
Oh, yeah.
Excellence was the only book I read this past year. Shout out to AJ.
All right, I'll give you another one. What was the name of the album that Taylor Swift created?
In Tortured Poets Society. Department. Sorry.
No. Oh, I guess.
What?
Was there two? 'Cause there was
Maybe
another
there were
one.
two.
There was another one.
Eras of a pop star.
Life of a Showgirl.
Maybe that was the most recent one. I don't know.
I don't know anything
I
about.
don't know any of these things. All right. You're still up 2-1, Connor. You guys have been failing miserably.
We might finish at 2-1.
I think the last 5 questions you guys have both gotten wrong. All right. NFL top 10 moments of 2025, according to Ben Arthur of Fox Sports. This drove people nuts yesterday. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, because you're not online all the time. This drove the world crazy. And by the world, I mean our world, the one world that truly exists, and that's the city of Philadelphia. Number 10 was the Bears stunned the Packers in the overtime thriller, which was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Caleb Williams.
It was a great game, but 10, All right. 9. I think this should be higher, quite frankly. Phillip Rivers returns. That should be, I think that's honestly a top 5 story.
I think it would have been if it wasn't just towards the back
Or
few
if they
games of the season.
or if they won,
and if they really started to make a push.
they lost every game, right? Not that he was a problem.
I think he started 3 games.
They lost 18-16 to the Seattle, 48-27 against the Niners, and then the 23-17 against the Colts. They were in both the Seahawks and Jags games.
Yeah. Good on Phillip Rivers, man. He threw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was fine. I thought that story should be top 5, honestly, but whatever. Josh Allen stuffed in the AFC Championship game when they tried doing the tush push and the Chiefs stopped them, and that's what basically won them the game. Okay. Shador Sanders' draft slide fell to 7. That was a big story.
It was. It dominated the draft headlines that whole weekend.
Which I'm sure you were miserable about because you love your draft.
I do. I'm like, listen, the Eagles just drafted Drew Kendall, and let's talk about it.
6, Jaden Daniels and the playoff run for the Commanders. I get it was historic for rookie quarterback per se, but again, to me, the Phillip Rivers story is even that was cooler for me.
Yeah, I could tell you. I'm a big Phillip Rivers fan.
I also the Lions were dead.
And he was 44 years old. It just you don't see that often. It kind of reminded me of the rookie with Dennis Quaid from back in the day. Remember that movie?
That's actually a great movie. When the Commanders get the crap beat out of them in the NFC Championship game, I think that brings down their story a little bit. It has to. right? Like, they got spanked because they faced a real team. The Lions
the Eagles
Lions
dropped
dead.
55 on them.
Yeah, whatever. New head coaches changed the trajectory of teams. The Patriots with Mike Vrabel, the Jaguars with Liam Cohen, and the Bears with Ben Johnson.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Fifth
that's a good
best
one.
story. The domino effect of the Vikings going all in on J.J. McCarthy is the number 4 story. You stick with McCarthy, who was not good when healthy. Daniel Jones goes to the Colts because he was a backup at one point last year after the Giants got rid of him. And we know what the Colts were able to do before that thing fell apart. And Sam Darnold, the guy they ultimately picked J.J. McCarthy over, has a 13-win team in the Seattle Seahawks and could be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, boy, J.J. McCarthy is not panned out for them.
No, it's not. Is that the
I was not high on that
Is that the
selection.
4th biggest story, though?
I mean,
4th biggest?
it wouldn't be my choice. But, man, was J.J. McCarthy overdrafted.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I didn't trust it. I didn't think they should have stuck with anybody, quite frankly. I didn't think Sam Darnold would have been some big answer for him. Your top 3. The Eagles winning the Super Bowl is number 3. And that's why people are losing their minds. Number 2 was Parsons being traded to Green Bay. And number 1 was the Chiefs being eliminated from the playoffs and maybe potentially the dynasty being done.
Yeah, that one should be pretty high.
I'm not surprised that that's number 1. Like, we're talking about the end of a dynasty. But was the dynasty ended because of said Super Bowl champions? Like, if you're going to say the dynasty maybe ending being the number 1 story, I think it should be number 2 behind the team that ended the potential dynasty and maybe the birth of a new one. We'll see. They got to figure out how to play offense first. I understand why people get upset over stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's just one person's opinion, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, of course. But everybody freaks out over it.
Yeah, I think we view it differently. I'm sure a lot of the listeners view it differently as well. Like,
Especially because we're here.
yeah, we live it, so we're kind of connected to it in a different way. I view the Eagles Super Bowl and the Chiefs dynasty collapsing as sort of one and the same.
Yeah, 1A, 1B.
Yeah, so I think that should be the primary, talking point
Is
of
Parsons getting traded to Green Bay bigger than the Eagles winning the Super Bowl? And it's not just
No.
the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. The whole thing was how they won the Super Bowl, too, like the dominance. This may have been one of the most lopsided, but one of the more lopsided Super Bowls. We obviously saw that Seattle
Denver game.
Denver game, yeah, like we saw that one. But it was the way they won. Like, that should be 1 or 1B, to your point,
Yeah.
with the Chiefs dynasty falling. Not Michael Parsons being traded. Green
No,
Bay.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
it was egregious, but it should be.
It's not the Eagles' fault that Jerry Jones is a moron.
It's the perfect list for content because you put the Philadelphia fan base third, so they
Yeah.
all get mad. You get the Cowboys in the top 3, so they all comment, and then you get the Chiefs haters in for the demise of the dynasty. It's a good built list for people to talk about it, but I hate the fact that the Eagles are 3.
All right, now speaking of, we have another top 10 list to react to coming up next because we had a special run on the station yesterday. So Unfiltered was not on because we carried the Ohio State Miami bowl game. But we needed an hour and a half of filibuster. And Ray Dunn did a tremendous job putting together the top 10 Philadelphia sports moments of 2025. It doesn't have to be positive, like the biggest moments in Philadelphia sports. And they were voted by us. I don't know how many people voted, but they were voted by us. Ray was the one that sort of compiled the voting and then did a special on it yesterday. We'll go through the top 10 Philadelphia sports stories of 2025 next. Because there's, of course, some that I disagree with. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Eagles offensive coordinator.
8:41 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy New Year to you all. We did on the stage. Oh, you know what? Let me give you a trivia question before we do this, because it's 2-1. I need you guys to try to figure this out. All right, what artist took the top global artist spot this year for Spotify?
Taylor Swift.
Musical artist. Incorrect.
Global.
Oh,
Bad
Bad Bunny.
You guys tied. Even though you did get you got the first crack at it. It is Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
I'll give you guys a tie. So it's still,
All right,
it's still 2-1. Here's another one. What company did Sydney Sweeney advertise for that?
Levi's. Nope, that's wrong. You got to guess, Andrew.
That obviously caused a lot of problems.
Calvin Klein.
Nope.
That's
Colin.
American Eagle.
You got it.
Damn it.
That's a point to you because I let Andrew guess twice.
Yeah, that's you.
So you got a point. Yeah, the American Eagle jeans ad.
I was going to say the soap thing. Remember that?
What was the soap?
What was it, Dr.
What-
Squatch or whatever?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Didn't she do a bathwater thing, too?
That was the one.
Why'd you look
right?
at me when you said that?
Well, because we're trying.
Because I know.
What, you know.
I know.
Don't
you're-
you have it?
I know you're intrigued. All right. Yesterday, we did this special.
He's laughing over there.
All right, you got to get in line here. You got. I'm letting you run the list here, dude. Yesterday, we did the top 10 moments in Philadelphia sports. Were you a part of the voting process?
I was not.
Oh, wow.
I think I got the email.
Shows where you stand. You got the email.
I got the email, but
participate?
I was very tied up with holiday things and the Eagles schedule and all that.
If you wanted to, you could have done it in 5 seconds, which I did because I cheated. Not that I actually truly believed my voting process.
I'm actually going to go back. Maybe I didn't get the email.
I gave Eagles winning the Super Bowl / parade as the number 1 story. I did the championship game as the number 2 story, the divisional round as the number 3 story, and the wild card round as the number 4 story, and winning the division as the number 5 story because the Eagles run this town. Whether you guys want to admit it or not, the Eagles run this town. When the Eagles win the division, that gets more of an uproar than any other team. When the Eagles win a playoff game, it gets more of a roar than any other team. Plus, there weren't many other playoff runs for any other teams in 2025. The Phillies one didn't happen. They got there, but they lost. Flyers and Sixers didn't make the playoffs. So for me, it makes sense to say 5-4-3-2-1, winning the division all the way to winning the Super Bowl / the parade.
Ray probably hated you.
Probably. But he calculated everything. So what was the top 10 list of 2025 sports moments in Philadelphia, according to members of the Fanatic?
Yeah, I did get the.
You just didn't participate.
December 5th, yeah.
At number 10, we had a tie, the Union Supporters Shield win and the WNBA announcement there at 10. Number 9 was the attempted ban of the tush push. Number 8 was Dave Dombrowski's year-end press conference and his comments on Bryce Harper. Number 7 was the emergence of VJ Edgecombe. Number 6 was Rick Tocchet taking over the Flyers, and Joel Embiid article and kind of figuring out where he's at mentally was 5, the discourse surrounding that. Number 4 was the Joy Awards push of Kyle Schwarber and Christopher Sanchez.
Way too high.
Number 3 was Kevin Patullo and the issues with the Eagles' offense this year. Number 2 was the Phillies lost to the Dodgers in the NLDS. And number 1 was, of course, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
But was it the Super Bowl or like the playoff run?
It was Eagles win the Super Bowl was what was on.
Because I'll tell you right now, the NFC title, the NFC championship game, the beatdown of it, which then led to us saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, like feeling comfortable saying that, is a bigger story than Kyle Schwarber almost winning the MVP and a bigger story than Christopher Sanchez almost winning the Cy Young.
Okay,
I think that whole run. Remember, it snowed against the Rams.
The snow game is a bigger story than a lot of these.
Where's your Eagles NFC championship hat?
I think I have one somewhere. With all due respect to the Union winning something in the regular season, that should not be ahead of the NFC championship game. I'll tell you right now, I did not put the Union in my top 10 list. With all due respect, I know there's a lot of Union fans. Oh, you guys are the station that airs the Union, the rights holders. Yes, for people that love the Union. They get to listen to it. To me, the Union winning a regular season award is not bigger than the freaking NFC title game or the snow game against the Rams. It's not even close.
Footy folks are going to get mad at you.
I'll also say the WNBA announcement's bigger than the Union Supporter Shield because that's a new thing Like that's something new.
Hey,
the Union win a regular season thing. What does that mean?
How do they not have the 78-yard Saquon Barkley touchdown in the snow in that game?
Yeah, that should be on there.
That's an all-time run for the franchise.
You know what I put on my top 10 that didn't make it here? The Saquon backwards hurdle is bigger than 8 of these. It was literally the reason why he's on the Madden cover. I'm talking big moments. How many people have shirts of Saquon doing that reverse hurdle?
Yeah, I think that squeezes the Union off that list.
Yeah, like with all due respect to a regular season award, people aren't talking about the Supporters Shield. People are talking about that Saquon hurdle still.
It's not top 10 moments. It's top 10 stories. Stories. And the Eagles Super Bowl
This is
is
the
all
Saquon Barkley
encompassing.
season.
Again, I'm saying it with all due respect because I know there are Union fans out there. So I'm saying this with all due respect. How much did we talk about that story?
It was mentioned.
Was it? It sounds like a mere footnote.
No, we congratulated them, which I did because I am always so honest with you guys. I don't lie and say I'm some big Union fan. I support Philadelphia. Connor's got his Union hoodie on. I want you to name me 3 players. Like that's
your
with all due
favorite
respect.
play. What was your favorite
Well,
memory?
moving Kai Wagner now.
Kai Wagner. Kai Wagner plays for the Magic, doesn't he? In the NBA. There's the Wagner brothers.
That's Mo and Franz.
I mean, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, with all due respect, because I support them. I have Union stuff. I wore a Union Nick cap the other day when I walked my dog. That was my support.
Hey, David Beckham's name is on that shield. That's a big deal, okay?
The Tush Push band should be higher up. That was a national story. Every week Shefty was on. We did the weekly Tush Push update.
That's right.
That's bigger than VJ Edgecombe.
Have some respect.
It's bigger than VJ.
I mean, I don't even think that's a controversial statement. It is.
VJ Edgecombe getting drafted, there was the polarizing, should they have drafted Ace Bailey or not. Then he had the incredible start to his career, and then he kind of went dark for like a month. Tush Push we talked about every day.
Yeah, I should have voted on this list.
You should have. You could have swung the vote.
I would have put a little bit more thought into this. VJ Edgecombe.
I'm
How about the
disappointed.
Saquon Barkley legacy season?
Yes. We were talking about Eric Dicker. Well, that was technically 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the reverse hurdle was 2024.
Interesting.
That's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, but the snow game was 2025.
Snow game was 2025.
Argument crumbling for Andrew Salciunas.
No, that's one thing that I messed
two
up.
Things.
All I'm saying is I am disappointed in my fellow voters here at the Fanatic. I'm disappointed.
Well, welcome to democracy, buddy.
I would have put the Oren Burks forced fumble to start the Packers
Damn
game.
right you would have. That got the ball rolling for the playoffs. With all due respect.
It's the second time I brought up Oren Burks today. Playing for the Bengals. Playing for the Bengals. Great guy.
The Harper one's going to be really interesting to follow for 26. The comments were damning, but like the sweater that he wore the other day or whatever, the shirt that he wore, the not elite.
Yeah, give me a break, dude. Give me a break.
It's going to be interesting to follow him in 2026, drinking his raw milk. All right, coming up next, Connor Thomas has a new hero. I don't think you even know who I'm talking about, but I know that you have a new hero. And this guy will end up becoming a joke. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles make their choice for Week 18. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds have made their decision for the matchup with the Commanders on whether or not they will be playing the starters, according to a report from Jeff McClain of the Inquirer yesterday. The plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale. So the starters are done until the playoffs, and Nick Sirianni talked about, the questions that still exist on the offensive side of the ball.
Obviously, we're all pissed that we didn't execute and coach as well as we needed to in the second half of that Buffalo game. But I really looked at it as like, man, there's some opportunities here that we can really get better from. And that's got to be the constant mindset you have.
So is that the right decision to rest the starters with the offense still in flux and the 2 seeds still in play? There's certainly debate on both sides. Flyers fell to the Flames 5-1 out in Calgary last night. They're off until Saturday. Sixers will face the Mavericks down in Dallas tonight, an 8:30 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And we had a wild upset again in last night in the college football playoff. 10-seeded Miami still rolling. They knocked off the defending champs Ohio State 24-14 to advance to the semifinals. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
is.
Who?
I mentioned him like probably 2 weeks ago on the station. We talked about him a little bit. Have you heard the latest news with Diego Pavia?
I have not.
All right, so in case people don't know who Diego Pavia is, Diego Pavia was the runner-up for the Heisman. He played quarterback at Vandy. He eventually transferred to Vandy. He's the runner-up behind Mendoza. He goes on social media that night, bleep the voters. He goes to a club, and they got one of the neon signs that James Harden had saying Daryl Morey's a liar. He had bleep Indiana, and then swore he didn't do it. People don't just make those signs and bring it to your bottle service table. Somebody had that. And immediately people in the NFL that like cover it or even draft people are like, that's going to hurt his stock, right? Because one, people don't really look at Diego Pavia as...
No, I was going to say he already was on the cusp of not being drafted.
Right, being an undrafted quarterback.
Guy,
Certified short king, Diego Pavia.
And then he's being a prickly fella about everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that's just going to hurt his case even more.
So why do I like this guy?
Diego Pavia is filing a lawsuit with the NCAA to allow him to continue to be eligible to continue to play college football because he has passed all of his eligibility. And now he is going to file a lawsuit. They already sent in like the paperwork and everything. He's filing a lawsuit to try to allow him to continue his eligibility in college and open the doors for other students that want to continue.
Sure. Go for the extra years. Live it up, kid. I mean, we got NBA players going back to play college basketball right now, so where's the line?
Technically, G League players going back.
There's a guy that played in the game.
No, that was fake.
Oh, was it?
Kenny Lofton.
No, not Kenny Lofton. There's a dude who logged like 4 minutes in a game because he was on a 2-way contract and then went back.
Are we sure about that? I thought if you played a minute.
And it's got to be real.
I'm pretty sure the rule is if you play a minute in the NBA, you can't.
Well, that's why everyone's mad.
Because there's international players that are going back to college. There's a kid from Baylor that got drafted by, I think, the Pistons or something. Didn't make it. They have his rights, but he went overseas to get more money, and now he's going back to Baylor and hoping to get redrafted again because you lose the rights if you go back to college.
So Diego,
some weird rules.
Eat your heart out. Let's go, kid.
Wasn't there a couple years ago there was like a tight end or something?
Well, there's a guy
football?
on Miami for like 8 or 9 years.
He's like 27. He has a beard and everything.
But he had it was a red shirt. There was a COVID thing. There was the what's the thing if you go back to school for more years?
What do you mean, like the grad
grad program?
Student. Yeah, I didn't do that. When you go back for more years, like there's loopholes. Diego Pavia is not a grad student. Diego Pavia is not going for his master's degree in something.
I'll tell you, and I got to be completely honest. I think a lot of people, if they're honest, they would say this as well. If I was the quarterback of Vanderbilt University down in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, I would sue to keep that way of life.
Well, that's why he said that's probably your hero.
Yeah, that's why he's your hero. By the way, he would make more money NIL than he would as an undrafted free agent in the NFL. And so whatever costs he may have to make for, like, all the law stuff, he would probably make it back quickly with NIL money.
So
but if he doesn't win his case,
he's certainly not helping his case, like, to endear himself to NFL teams.
by the way, what team goes, yeah, you know what? We do want to pick up the kid that was afraid to come to the NFL. That's what it ultimately is. He's not ready to go to the NFL. He wants to do another year in college. He probably knows his limit. He knows his ceiling. He knows that he's not going to make a lot of money in the NFL, so he's trying to make a business decision. But then I guarantee you he's going to be the first one that's upset that nobody gives him a shot.
Yeah, he's the Alex Moran for the Blue Mountain State fans out there. He's trying to play cool, man.
State. That's awesome.
Now starting at quarterback for Vanderbilt University, Van Wilder.
By the way, Deontay says thinking he's paying for those lawyers is hilarious. That's true.
Yeah.
He's probably got a team doing that. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
Time
minutes after we got off the air yesterday, Connor and I, there was the report from Jeff McClain of the Inquirer that the Eagles were planning on resting their starters. A report that Adam Schefter said earlier in the show here on the Fanatic the day before. It was Mike Garafolo that was tweeting it out. Nick Sirianni made it kind of clear without saying it in his press conference earlier in the week that it looked like they were going to rest their starters. So the decision, when I saw Jeff McClain's report yesterday, I was not surprised in the least. And then, of course, the Eagles eventually confirm his reporting. Tanner McKee will be your starting quarterback on Sunday. There will be some starters that have to play because there is a numbers game. You can't just – it's not like a college football roster where you have 150 guys on a sideline. You have 53. You're going to have to play some starters. But the decision has come out that the Eagles will rest the majority of starters, key starters like Jalen Hurts, I imagine Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So to start the show today at 610-632-0975, we want your reaction to the Eagles' decision to rest the starters. So I put out a video on social media yesterday, and I stand by it. If you were on one side or the other, I don't think you were wrong or crazy. I think this one was truly debatable. I said this a couple times this week, Andrew. Last year, I did not think there was a debate. I understand people wanted to witness history, but to me, an individual record versus the big picture, I did not think that was a debate at all.
No, you and I were on the same side of that, and I look at it through the lens of how the Eagles are approaching it, and it made sense. No one player, no one goal is above the team goal.
Right.
And you don't run the risk of putting your star player out there because then you have to roll out your starting offensive line. You're putting other players at risk when the goal is to win a Super Bowl or at least attain the Super Bowl. You can't run the risk in a late season game.
Right. It like to me, I thought it was silly to even debate it. Like the other day, we got somebody randomly text in after I said that, it's not like Saquon did anything in the Super Bowl anyway. Ignoring the 100 yards he had against the Packers, the almost 200 yards he had against the Rams, the 100 yards he had against the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. Like, what do we do? I don't even know why we're still going back to that. There was no debate, in my opinion, about last year. But this year was a real debate. 2 seed, potentially, versus resting and maybe not getting the 2 seed. And so, as it stands, we know that the Eagles will not be playing their starters. You're going to hope that Tanner McKee and the Eagles' backups can put together some decent of a game on Sunday, maybe still win the football game, and then we wait and see what happens with Chicago. But I know that yesterday's debate leading up to the decision was actually a debate. Where did you come in on this before the decision was made, Andrew?
Yeah, see, even though the 2 seed is still very much at play, I look at it through the, from the perspective of the Eagles' reserves, I believe, can beat the Commanders as currently constituted. Josh Johnson, I don't know that he strikes fear in anyone. And seeing Tanner McKee play before, I think you have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And the skill players that they're going to have, I mean, that's better than some of these other teams that you're going to see around the NFL. And so I always thought that the Eagles should rest key players, especially along the offensive line. Those guys have been banged up all season long. You don't think that they could benefit from a week going into the postseason. I mean, they played 21 weeks last season. Then you have a shortened off season. There's just they're constantly going. And I think that when you have an opportunity to do so, you err on the side of caution and you lean into your reserve. You say, this is your opportunity. Go out there and beat an inferior team. So,
and the other thing is, like, if there was we've talked about potential matchups in the first round. There's one team that I fear, and they just lost Monday night to the Falcons in the Los Angeles Rams, which you could face in the first round. Or it's the Packers, or it's the 49ers, or it's the Seahawks. Like, whatever it is, I don't think there's a team that anybody is totally fearful of. Like, I'm the one that's scared of the Rams. Not many other people seem to be in the city. So it's not like they wanted to avoid anybody. They're doing what they think is best, which is resting their starters, which is maybe giving them their best shot at the first round of the playoffs, being more healthy. I was listening to Johnny Marks yesterday. I saw the Twitter reaction by John Kincade. There were people angry with the decision. And that's the thing where I'm confused the most. I understand wanting a side or having a side, right? I wanted them to rest starters. That was my preference. But if the decision came out, if I read Jeff McClain's tweet, but it was just the complete reverse. The Eagles are playing their starters. They want to try to give them their best chance possible to get the 2 seed, to have the 2 home games in the playoffs. If you win your first round matchup I would have said, okay, not what I wanted, but all right, I'm fine with it. I don't understand the anger. Connor told me before the show that he saw a tweet, somebody in all caps talking about how Nick Sirianni's an idiot for this decision. I did not understand the visceral reaction that some people had to this decision at all.
No, I don't understand the outrage here. Look, go back to the 2023 season, right, when A.J. Brown got hurt against the Giants. And then they pulled all the starters, and A.J. Brown wasn't available for the wild card game. Now, the Eagles don't win that wild card game likely anyway with A.J. Brown because they didn't play well.
Yeah.
But that just kind of underscores the importance of not putting your stars out there in a game that really doesn't have a ton of meaning. Yes, the 2 seed is very important, but you look at the Commanders, you look at what you have in the players that are going to be going out there, and I think you still feel comfortable they can go out there and win.
And that's the thing. There's a best-case scenario. The best-case scenario is this: whoever plays for the Eagles could still beat a Commanders team that realizes that this is the last game of the regular season. And Dan Quinn can do all the macho, we'll see them in 2 weeks he wants. If the Eagles aren't playing their starters, there's probably not as much anger. And maybe the Commanders are just like, all right, let's get home. They'll probably give a fight in the first half, and then halftime will happen. And if it's a close game or if the Eagles have the lead, the Commanders will completely lose all energy for the remainder of the game. The Eagles will win, and then we scoreboard watch with Chicago. There is a best-case scenario where the Eagles end up still winning on Sunday, the Bears end up losing on Sunday, and you rested your starters. That's the best-case scenario. If that's not how it plays out, Eagles lose or the Bears lose and the Eagles don't win and whatever, I'm still not angry. I got what I ultimately wanted. What I ultimately wanted was the Eagles to rest their starters. Now, coming up next, there is a third reaction. So reaction 1 is you're happy that they're resting the starters. Reaction 2 is you're upset that they're not going for it for that second seed, giving it their best. John Kincade saying they're waving the white flag, which I laugh at. There's a third reason, and that reason is another one that people are upset by. And it's probably the one that I disagree with the most. I'll explain more coming up next. My man Andrew DeCecco with us for the entire show today on their New Year's Day. Happy 2026, everybody. We'll continue some of the New Year's Day fun here on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's been a part of the show today on this New Year's Day. I know not as many people are out on the roads, and hopefully you're not on the roads like Andrew DeCecco was driving through the snow squall.
That was the scariest drive that I've ever encountered.
You and I were talking about this before the show started. Also, shout out to YouTube. Love you guys. You were mentioning how you would rather drive through like a monsoon rainstorm than the snow squall. And yeah,
You literally can't see.
You can't see anything.
You can't. You don't know where the lines are. You can't see in front of you.
Now, the stronger, I'm trying to think which one I'd rather.
This is at like 5 o'clock in the morning, mind you.
I guess snow squall definitely more scarier because there's also the slippage factor. The monsoon, I got stuck on the Atlantic City Expressway this past summer in a like downpour. And you know, everybody's driving 80 miles an hour because they want to get to the beach, and then all of a sudden you drove through like this wall of rain. That freaked me out. Because all you see is like the flashing lights, but you don't know how far they are in front of you. I guess snow squall is scarier, though, because I think there's more incidents.
And this was at 5 a.m., so there's no lines on the road. There's no cars
Right.
with their hazards on. So you have no idea where the barrier is, where the exit is. It just was not great.
And I don't think anybody expected it. There was no salt on the ground, right? Like
There wasn't.
Our our parking lot's still, not that I don't think it's worthy of snowplows, but like it's not, nobody's going to work on this.
I got the notification when I woke up this morning, like snow squall warning between now and like 5:30 a.m.
We get snow squall warnings?
Yeah, dude.
So I swear this is a new phenomenon.
That sounds like a good band name, by the way.
Snow squall warning?
Yeah.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah, I was just
trademark
thinking,
that.
Yeah. Snow squall.
I swear I heard snow squall for the first time in my life like 2 years ago, and now we get them all the time.
I don't know. You just weren't up on the squall game.
I think this was one of these man-created weather phenomena.
Nah, this is a thing.
Remember Thunder Snow? That's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Another great band
yeah.
name, Thunder Snow.
That is.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
All right. So the biggest thing that I can't agree with right now for people complaining about the not playing the starters Sunday is they don't deserve it. They should play to try to figure something out. I don't think you can figure something out in a Week 18 matchup against the Commanders. I agree with anybody that wants the 2 seed for seeding purposes, all right? Even though my preference, and I got my preference, was resting starters, I can understand why somebody would want the 2 seed. But there are people that believe they should play or should want to play to try to fix things. And I don't think – what are you going to fix?
There's not going to be a new discovery after 18 weeks. This is the offense. Now, you might see some tweaks. You may see a melding of things that they did against the Chargers and the Raiders versus what they were doing against the Commanders, and you might see sort of a balance there. But this is going to be an offense that's inconsistent, that's predicated on running the football with an offensive line that's been ailing for the season. And I think you take all that in consideration when you're making that decision, and you try to prioritize health, because for a team that's predicated on running the football, if you cannot get a push up front, you're going to be stuck in neutral. And that makes it, when you're living on the edge like that, you're putting all the onus on your defense to kind of bail you out. That makes it all the more daunting.
And the thing is, like, play or don't play, right? To me, the health benefits them the most. Will that guarantee them winning a football game? No, it won't. But is there any guarantees with any of the, like, 2 seeds? So you beat the Packers because we feel more comfortable against the Packers than the Niners or Rams. I think everybody agrees with that.
Yeah.
You're still going to end up playing these teams in the second round.
Exactly.
Whether it's the first round or the second round, you're still playing these teams. Mm-hmm. Like, you're playing in Lincoln Financial Field. If you're the 2 seed and you win your first round matchup against the Packers, you're playing either the Rams or the San Francisco 49ers in the second round of the playoffs at Lincoln Financial Field. It's either first round or second round. Now, personally, we would all want to see it extend a week because that's more fun. The party continues. But ultimately, what's the difference between wild card weekend and the divisional round?
And I brought it up earlier. Like last year in the wild card round, Nakobe Dean goes down against the Green Bay Packers. You don't have him for the rest of the postseason run. You're not going to get any healthier than what you are coming out of a Week 18 rest. You're just not. Guys are going to get banged up. Guys are going to get worn down. It may be better to get these teams earlier. There's just no reason not. Like, I understand the argument for the 2 seed, but At that point, if you're more in favor of the 2 seed, you're telling me that you don't really believe in the Eagles' Super Bowl viability and you need the path to fall their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the path might need to fall their way. Like, as I said, I went through it earlier. If you guys missed it, way back in the 6 o'clock hour, hopefully you were all still sleeping. I put together all the scenarios for you, and I based it all off of the odds in Vegas. So there are 4 scenarios for the Eagles in the 2026 NFL playoffs. 2 is the 2 seed, 2 is the 3 seed. The 2 seed, it's either Seattle's the 1 seed or San Francisco's the 1 seed. If Seattle is the 1 seed, then you would be playing you'd be playing Green Bay, obviously, because you're the 2 seed, in either of these scenarios. It would be the next round is when we start talking about who the Eagles would be playing. They'd be playing the Rams in the second round if it was the Seattle 1 seed. They'd be playing the Seahawks if it was the second round if San Francisco is the 1 seed. I would prefer that scenario where you play Green Bay in round 1, Seattle in Philadelphia in round 2. And so that gives merit to anybody that says they want the 2 seed. But again, 3 things have to go their way before we even start talking about that happening. For me, the only way they are going to get back to an NFC Championship game is probably because of the path. That's the best path. But it's no guarantee that that's your path. What I can guarantee in Week 18 by not playing my starters is the starters being healthier for the first round playoffs. That is the true guarantee.
Yeah, and I think because there's no guarantee and a lot of things have to break your way, you focus on the variables that are within your control, and that is preservation, resting players, and facing however it pans out. Because a lot has to happen, and it's a lot that needs to be determined. And the Eagles can look at it and say, we'll face whoever, we'll do whatever, we'll play whoever, but we need to be healthy and able to do that.
All right. Good job. I'm going to give you guys a 2025 trivia question now. It's 2-1. Or no, 3-1. I gave you the third point, so it's still 3-1. In October of 2025, this museum made headlines.
What, the Smithsonian?
Museum of Natural History.
All right, you guys are both incorrect. I'll give you.
I think that was from
Pretty
We Were
broad
Back.
question.
I'll give you another clue because I always worry if the next clue will give it away. They were in the headlines because there was a heist.
Oh. Andrew?
It's a museum in Boston, an art museum?
No. It was the Louvre.
The Louvre. Correct. There was a heist. Did you not miss? Did you miss that one?
Yeah, probably.
That was a big one.
Yeah,
It
they
was
dressed up as maintenance guys that had like a ladder.
It was like movie stuff.
Because I watched the documentary, but it was from years ago.
Yeah,
where they
this
a
was
place
this-
in Boston. They
This
robbed
was-
artwork,
Let's see how
but
much.
they also
Ocean's
dressed up.
3.
They also dressed up as maintenance folks.
The stolen jewels from the October 2025 heist was valued at approximately $102 million.
That'll be made into a movie.
That will be
or
made,
or
that
a
will be made
Netflix,
movie.
you know,
something like that.
documentary.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, we got a couple segments left for you. I want to revisit an exercise that Connor and I did earlier this week. We also ran it by Zach Berman, so now it's your turn. I put together a list of 9 players on the Eagles defense that will be coming close to a payday. From most important to pay to least important to pay. I'm going to make you rank them 1 through 9.
Nice.
Like
All right.
we did. We'll give you ours. We'll hear yours. That comes right next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles prioritizing health. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds have made their decision for their Week 18 game against the Commanders this Sunday. According to a report from Jeff McClain of the Inquirer yesterday, the plan is to rest Jalen Hurts and other key starters for the regular season finale against Washington. With the starters done until the playoffs, Nick Sirianni met with the media yesterday, and he talked about the confidence he has and where the defense is at right now.
You know, obviously Vic and staff have done a really good job of coaching the guys, putting them in position to succeed, and then we just continue to get better, and that's what you want to happen throughout the course of the year, is just continue to rise, and those guys have done that.
But is it the right decision to rest the players? We'll see if that plays out with the 2 seeds still in play. The Flyers lost to the Flames 5-1 last night out in Calgary. Sam Ersson allowed 5 goals on 25 shots. They're off till Saturday. Sixers play the Mavericks in Dallas tonight at 8:30. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Don't miss Bill Colarulo at the Goat on Sansom Street this Saturday, January 3rd from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. for an Ultra Access event with Michelob Ultra featuring $5 Michelob Ultra drafts and a chance to win Sixers suite tickets in the Fanatic's private suite. Please enjoy responsibly. Also brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit madd.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
9:26 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic, Andrew Pacheco in for Johnny today. I hope everybody had a nice, safe, happy New Year Eve and enjoyed the party into the wee hours of the morning, or you just went right to bed. I don't know what you guys do in your personal lives. But we're here having fun with you. Before we hand things over to what? Bowl games today on the Fanatic? We don't know Middays with Marks today, I assume. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're the only main day part show that is on today.
You're
Wanted
welcome.
to get your morning started correctly.
You're welcome, everybody. It's not because I wanted to pick up the comp day to take off tomorrow. Last night, by the way, did you I doubt that you did, but did you see what happened in the Spurs-Knicks game last night, other than the Wemby injury that you brought up?
No.
Spurs win 134-132. It was 134-129 with 8 seconds left. Knicks inbound the ball, their half of the court. Quickly kick it over to Deuce McBride, who misses a three. I forget who rebounded it, but somebody for the Spurs grabs the rebound and starts dribbling it toward his bench. About to dap up his teammates. They're about to win. Jalen Brunson comes out of nowhere, strips him, fade away, turnaround three from the corner, falling out of bounds. Immaculate shot. Unbelievable shot, right? That really means nothing because the Spurs were down, or the Spurs were up 5. Meant something if you had Spurs minus 3.5, though.
Oh, no.
Go look at the shot if you have the time. Jalen Brunson's three yesterday. A shot that, if he just realizes, why am I going after this ball? Because by the time he got it, there was 2 seconds left. He makes the shot as time expires. Like there was no benefit to making that shot unless you had Knicks plus 3.5. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson did it to try to cover, but what I'm saying is there are people that definitely had Spurs minus 3.5 and lost because of an immaculate 3-point shot. Crazy. All right.
Happy New Year.
Them the breaks.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, so earlier this week, Connor and I did a bit of an exercise, and we included Zach Berman on it when he joined us. I don't have his 1 through 9. He kind of just sort of gave his opinion on each one, and he and I were pretty close. And I'm curious where you come in on this, Andrew. I gave you 9 names during the commercial break of players that will be getting paid either this offseason or they have to start planning their payday. Because let's face it, the defense is why you are at where you're at right now. The defense is the reason why we are talking about whether or not they should play for the 2 seed this Sunday against the Commanders. Not because of the offense. So there will be a time where you're going to have to make some pretty tough decisions paying the guys that got you to this point and potentially moving on from the guys on offense that are picking up the bulk of the salary right now. So the names I gave you, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, your interior lineman. I gave you 3 edge rushers, Jalen Phillips, who will be a free agent, Nolan Smith, and Jalix Hunt, who you have to start thinking about their years. Nolan Smith, because he was drafted in the first round, he's got, 2 years left if they pick up the 5th-year option. Jalix Hunt, he was a 3rd-round pick, so he does not have that 5th-year option. Then you have your corners in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, both drafted in the same year. The one thing you have for Quinyon Mitchell is that 5th-year option, which I imagine they pick it up. And then you have Reed Blankenship at safety. Rank them, in your opinion, 1 through 9, most important player you need to lock up to the least important player you want to lock up.
All right, yeah, I'll rank them, and you could, if there's any player that stands out to you, we could chat about it. Quinyon Mitchell, number 1, I would argue that he's been the team MVP this season.
Okay.
When you have a corner that can erase one side of the field, that's invaluable in today's NFL. Cooper DeJean is number 2.
Okay.
Versatile player, move him around. You see how valuable he is for Vic Fangio. Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips, Jordan Davis.
All right, stop right there before we continue. So we're through 5.
Yeah.
I have Phillips Davis 4-5 as well.
Okay.
I just have Carter at 1.
Understood,
and then Quinyon Cooper 2-3. So the Quinyon
wrestled
Cooper,
with that.
same order as you. My biggest difference is Carter at 1 as opposed to 3 because I think everything starts up front. But what you said about Quinyon and Cooper are basically word for word what I said when we did this earlier in the week. To know that you have one half of the field completely locked down is such a comfortable feeling. And as you and I agree, even though some of us got mocked for it, the slot corner is arguably the most important position on the field, especially in today's NFL.
And you see why they are reluctant to move Cooper DeJean from that nickel corner role.
Yep.
And how proficient he is sort of navigating traffic and tackling in space and all that. We were correct.
So what about 6 through 9?
Yeah, so Jalix Hunt, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship.
My only difference is Smith-Dean, and that's, again, like a point. I had Smith ahead of Dean because
Jahad Campbell.
And even though Nolan Smith has a bit of an injury history too, I just worry about the Dean thing. Now it's the hamstring. You drafted his replacement. His potential
absolutely, yeah.
replacement.
I just look at Nakobe Dean's leadership, what he means, and how much Vic Fangio loves Nakobe Dean. He talks about him unlike he does, with other players where he'll touch on how they played and this and that. You could tell that he really has a lot of respect for Nakobe. You see what he means on the field for the Eagles. He's almost as impactful, if not more, off the field for what he does for the Philadelphia community. And
Sure.
I think having 3 linebackers there versus having 3 edge rushers there, because Nolan Smith already had Jalix Hunt and Jalen Phillips above it. So that's kind of the way
So you and I are pretty close. The big one was the Carter. I have him at 1. You have him at 3. Connor, what was yours again?
Our biggest difference is where I have Jalen Phillips. I had Jalen Phillips at 7. And the reason why I had him so low. What's up? Doesn't know ball? Huh? Because for me, I think Jalen Phillips is the guy that's going to command the most money. I think he's going to be the toughest one to lock. As far as guys, and maybe it's because he's not an organizational guy. They make the trade for him. He's been here the back half of this year. But I just feel like when he hits the open market, he's going to be more expensive for the production you'd potentially get out of him compared to the other edge rushers on this list. The price tag is the only reason he's at 7.
Okay. I just look at the impact. The Eagles have proven that they're willing to pay for edge rushers, and he's 26 years old. He can play the run, and he could get after the passer. And I think that adding him to the mix, there's no mistake. It's not a mistake when the defense sort of turned a corner when Jalen Phillips arrived, and especially the pass rush. Jalix Hunt was sort of unlocked a little bit. Nolan Smith's arrival, he was able to settle in. I just think Jalen Phillips adds a lot to this defense.
He changed everything when he got here.
Absolutely. We talk about how Cooper DeJean, the insertion of Cooper DeJean last year, unlocked something with that defense. Well, I would say that Jalen Phillips is the sort of it would be that parallel this year.
Is he the best trade deadline acquisition in Howie Roseman's tenure as Eagles GM?
That or Jay Ajayi.
Part of a committee.
But Jay Ajayi was a committee guy. You're right.
Yeah,
so
I would say yes, and I don't think it's hyperbole. Just seeing the impact that he's had over 2 months, he's helped the Eagles sort of morph into this elite defense that is so strong that it's almost being able to overcome an offense that isn't able to generate much of anything.
I said it a couple of weeks ago to Shefty. I think it's the best trade deadline acquisition in the NFL. Obviously, Shaheed for the Seahawks was a very good addition for that team. But I still look at Jalen Phillips like he changed what was already a good defense to like an elite defense, because the pass rush was the one area where you were like, man, this has to get better.
Yeah, and this is something where you have to look beyond the box score, because I think he may only have 2 sacks since arriving with the Eagles. But if you're looking at the impact that he's brought and how it's helped other players like Jalix Hunt, and it's helped Nolan Smith, and his ability to set the edge with violence. And Nakobe once said, I like edges who set edges, when he was asked about what Jalen Phillips brings. And he brings a violence, an athletic, lengthy type of player there. And just looking at that Buffalo Bills game, that last play, Josh Allen should have made that throw, but he was pressured. It was Jalen Phillips.
And by the way, fortunately, he came back. I held my breath when he went down, because he's got a bit of an injury history too. When he went down, I was like, oh, this isn't good. What do we got on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975.
All right, so we have another check-in here on the conversation with resting the starters. So Bill from Pottstown checks in. He also lets us know that Pottsville is a real town home of Yingling's Brewery, but different than Pottstown. He says, Eagles offense just took the second half off against the Bills. Do they really need another whole week off? We've got a lot of that today.
They didn't take the second half off. Being ineffective and then is one thing. But, I mean, they've had halves like that over the course of the season. To expect it to be rectified in a Week 18 game against the Washington Commanders is, I mean, I don't know.
It's not. It's one game.
I don't know
Week
what
18
you
against a bad
expect,
team is not going to do anything. That's why I tried saying it as pleasant as possible. I didn't believe the Commanders-Raiders games meant anything. It was nice to see. It was nice to come in here on the radio and have a pleasant week, but I didn't believe anything. By the way, the first half against the Commanders, let's not act like.
Yeah, I mean, let's not act like they were stellar.
They were horrible the first half against the Commanders. Horrible. And then they had a nice second half, and Saquon came to life. All right, coming up next, I have true-false questions for Connor and Andrew. 2026 Philadelphia Sports true-false questions. Whether or not certain things will happen. We'll go through those with you coming up next here on 97.5 The Fanatic. .40 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Question. So I know you're not more of a TV show guy, Andrew Checo, right? You're more of a moviesman.
Yes, I'm a moviesman.
You are a TV guy more than movies, correct?
I do a little bit of both. I wouldn't say more one than the other.
So you dabble.
I dabble.
on a big show like a finale of a big show like Stranger Things, how do you view it? Are you a lock-in guy? Like yesterday, my son fell asleep around 8:45, 8:50. I did not start watching until 9:15. Like, I had a lock-in. I made a little cocktail. I got the couch situated. You know, my wife wanted us too close to me. Pull over. Like, I needed a lock-in. I was like, you know, the meme of the guy playing the video game sitting up in his chair.
Sit forward.
Well, no, I was a lounge guy. Like, I'm not breaking down tape here. I sit forward during Eagles games. Like, I'm a on the edge of the seat guy. But how do you lock into like a big show like that?
I don't really. I'm not a big lock-in guy when it comes to watching stuff. There's so because for me, we're so locked in every time we watch sports, and everything's always sports and on. Like, if I'm watching the Birds, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, I'm zoned. And then when I watch anything that's not sports related, I'm on my phone. I'm kind of like zoned out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple things here. I have to be by myself
Yeah.
because I don't like distractions, and I have to have my meal of choice in front of me.
Oh, that's good.
So,
food
like,
part's important.
whether that's wings, pizza.
See, I was post-food. It was 9:15 at night. I was good.
Well,
wife,
then in that
my
case,
wife made some popcorn. So I had a few.
yeah. Well, in that case, snacks.
Yeah.
They have to be in order, but they have to be ready before. Like, I'm not. Oh, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna wait for it. No. We're not doing that.
Anti-pause. I can't do the pause. Like, I got it. I'm in, man.
Yeah, I've also turned into a little brain rot dummy where my phone distracts me way too much. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
you gotta get out-
Oh,
you
that's
gotta-
the other thing. I put
gotta
my
get out of
phone
that.
away.
I go.
Because it's only what 45 minutes that you.
Well, the
you're-
Stranger
you're
Things
detached.
was 2 hours.
Okay, well, it's 2 hours.
What if someone needs me?
But like your whole family was right there. Like who else is gonna?
Coop was asleep. You know, we were all good. We were all good. I didn't need to worry about that.
What if there's a cool new Instagram reel?
Yeah, no, I'm out. Yeah, I'm a lock-in guy. All right, I have true-false questions for you, or over-unders. I have a bit of everything that I created myself. This is not. I did not go to like some sports book to ask these questions. All right, true, false. Both the Flyers and Sixers will make the playoffs in 2026, so the 25-26 season.
True.
I agree. Over under 1.5 series wins for the two combined.
I was promised true false.
I said or over under. Over under 1.5 series wins for the Flyers, Sixers combined. So they could both win one. That would hit the over. Or maybe one gets eliminated in the first round, but the other team goes 2 rounds. Or none of them win. So over under.
Under.
1.5. You go under.
I'm also going under.
I go over. I think the Sixers win a first round playoff series this year. And I think the Flyers win I think there's going to be so much freaking buzz at the Xfinity Mobile Arena that could carry them.
This feels like a team. All due respect to the Flyers, because I love what they're building right now. But this feels like a team that gets in and gets their teeth kicked in and then realizes, okay, this is what playoff hockey is. They got a lot of young guys. They got a lot of inexperienced guys when it comes to the playoff hockey atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm with Conrad on that.
Okay.
I kind of see it the same way.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, all great teams go through getting their teeth kicked in.
You guys haven't looked up the NFL or NHL playoff picture just yet?
What do you mean?
You haven't broken down the seedings and who they would be playing?
No.
You haven't done that yet, like we've been doing for the Eagles the last 5 weeks?
I haven't we'll get
to that
at the
in
tape
April.
yet. Yeah.
All right. Bryce Harper will be better. I'm not saying elite because his shirt says he's not elite. But Bryce Harper will play a brand of baseball this year where we will say, okay, thank you. This is what I needed to see.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think it's true.
I think it's true.
I would say false.
The only thing is, I just worry that he's doing too much this offseason with the blood. What do we do? Blood transfusions or whatever the hell he's doing. Like, I feel like he's realizing that his body did not agree with him last year. Whether it was the wrist injury, the back's been a concern for a long time because his vicious swing. I just worry that he's doing a little bit too much. Or
Yeah, I just don't see him getting healthier at this stage of his career.
No. But I think he'll be better. He couldn't hit fastballs last year.
Yeah.
That's got to improve.
Like, the thing is, he just didn't lose it. Guys don't, at that age, do not just completely forget how to be. If you're elite, to use that term, You're probably that for a couple more years or close to it. Just a down year for him.
It'll ultimately come down to who's batting behind him in the order. And if it's Alec Boehm, we're all going to cry again.
Adolis Garcia, please, for the love of God.
It won't be. Phillies win the NL East. True or false? I say false. I'll go right away. I'll start. False.
Who, the Mets again?
No, the Braves. Have you?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you
think,
ignore the Atlanta Braves?
No, I don't.
They were dead last year because of injuries. Watch out.
Yeah, I'm going to say false. I don't see it. I don't see it this year. I'm not loving what the
I can
Phillies
see
are
it being
doing.
close, but I think we forget that the Braves had 600 injuries last year.
They did. Yeah, it's kind of hard to close any sort of gap when
They're a really
you're
good
riddled with
baseball
injuries.
team, and I would expect them to bounce back this year. So
Yeah.
I go false.
I'll go false.
I'm not
as
saying they
well.
don't make the playoffs. I just don't think they win the NL East this year. All right. True or false? We have the same complaints with the Phillies. I say true. Outfield, we hate.
True.
Lineup construction. I think we have the exact same complaints.
Bullpen will be not the same. Bullpen's going to be much better this year. But the other ones you brought up, true.
As long as people aren't getting suspended.
Honestly, he can get suspended. Brad Keller, Joan Durant for a full season is going to totally change the outlook of this baseball team when they have a lead late.
Well, we think, yeah.
I mean, he was all MLB this year. We know he's going to be incredible. Like a year of him, I don't think people are looking into how much that changes their end of game stuff.
Okay.
We think. It just you can't get the postseason version as often.
Yeah. Hope not.
Yeah.
True or false? At some point, we will see the what Daryl Morey envisioned.
What, this year? 2026?
2026. At
False.
some point, we'll see
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna go false there.
I'm going to go false as well because it all stands on one thing. It's injury. And I can't ignore history. Like, I can't ignore it. We saw it the other night, what his vision is. Embiid, Maxey, Paul George. He made another great draft, but you can't deny his draft history. He's very good
Yeah.
with the Sixers. Like, you
Right.
can't deny that.
But his vision was not VJ Edgecombe. They backed into that because
Right.
the team collapsed last year.
Right. His
And hey,
vision
we'll
is
take
Paul
it.
George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. And the way it ended in year one of that trio, two of the three guys you weren't surprised that they were hurt. Because
No,
that's just what their history
That's
is.
what history tells you.
All right, VJ Edgecombe will be a top 2 finalist for Rookie of the Year.
True.
False.
I say false as well. The reason why I say 2, Cooper Flags.
He's like minus 600 already.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I think
looked
he'll
at
be
the
up
odds
there
yesterday.
with Cooper Flag.
He is at minus 600. Con Knippel is second right now. Derek Queen is third. So VJ Edgecombe is fourth. I think he can climb up. What's Knippel doing for that horrible?
He's putting up points, man.
Yeah, I know.
He's had a really good year.
Yeah, he could shoot. And
Well, that's the thing. No one's giving the Rookie of the Year to the guy who plays hard-nosed defense.
he's averaging 19 a game this year. He's shooting 43% from three. Knippel. That's why people wanted him, because it would actually kind of make sense with what this team needed if you were drafting based off of Embiid,
Yeah.
which you couldn't do anymore.
I mean, it's likely going to be Cooper Flag, but I think at the end, when the dust settles, it'll be Flag and VJ.
All right, we might not have to wait much longer to find this out. Will Tyrese Maxey be an all-star starter?
True.
I think so, too. I don't see his play falling off. There have been games with the trio where it hasn't looked good, but he looked really good the other night against Memphis, and I wonder if they're starting to realize, like, he's the guy. Like, you're still going to have him. Embiid had a really nice night the other night, but it's got to be the Maxey show.
Yeah, I'll go true there.
All right?
And remember, all-star game this year, positionless. So he doesn't have to beat out the guards. It's just the top 5 players.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What do we got on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975.
All right, so we have another check-in on this Eagles conversation with the resting the starters. And this texter checks in and says that they're looking at the opportunity for the 2 seed as more beneficial than the rest. No name on this one, but I'd rather see the Eagles go after the higher seeding to give themselves the easier playoff path with the issues with the offense, and I think the extra work can't hurt.
The extra work, what are they going to do in Week 18?
I don't know. I think playing is enough for some people.
Yeah,
I mean, they played 17 weeks. I mean,
Yeah. And did we not learn that the Raiders game was the Raiders? The Commanders game was not as good as the Raiders game, but like it was still a better game than most offensive weeks for them. And then they played a real team. And they had 16 yards in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, also, if you zoom out, this is a team that played 21 straight weeks last season. They had some pivotal surgeries from their offensive linemen, Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. They had a shortened offseason, and I think a bye week would serve them well. I really do. I mean, they haven't had as much rest as other teams have. Granted, they're played into February. That plays a part in it. But, I mean, to expect that you're going to get this revelation in Week 18 against the Commanders, that you're going to get this eureka moment where the light bulb's going to go off, I mean, that's just not very realistic.
Yeah, I just can't see it all of a sudden happening. So that's why I never understood. That's why I don't understand the anger. And you'll be with Johnny tomorrow, Connor, as I've been stirring the pot for almost 4 hours today. John Kincade is angry with the decision. I do not understand the anger or the vitriol that is being shown toward the decision to rest the starters, because to me, the way I see it, so everybody's entitled to their opinion, I believe it's more beneficial for them to not play on Sunday to give them the rest. If you think the 2 seed is more beneficial, I don't think you're wrong. But why are you doing it?
Do you want to put Jalen Hurts out there with the angry Frankie Louvu and a team like the Washington Commanders that have nothing to play for? They're probably going to be playing a lot of younger players who are out there to try and prove themselves, get good things on tape. I mean, I just don't think that there's any benefit to doing that when you factor in, when you really take a step back, look at it objectively. I don't know why anyone would be angry at that decision. I think Nick Sirianni should be commended for having the guts to make that decision.
And what are you doing it for? You're hoping to get a second-round home game, right? Like, that's what I think ultimately people want. You're still going to play a Rams or 49ers team that you are, avoiding in round one? Is it avoiding? Like, I'm curious. I need you to ask John that tomorrow. Is it avoiding teams? Because he's very confident in the Eagles against those teams.
You're bringing up a good point.
So is it avoiding the Rams or Niners, or is it just hopefully guaranteeing you a second home game? I'm guessing that's what he's going to end up saying.
Gotta be it, but I'll ask him tomorrow.
But even as the 3rd seed, there's a chance the Packers, according to FanDuel, if the Packers and Bears square up in round 1, Packers is the 7th seed, Bears is the 2 seed. The Packers are the favorite by 1.5 points.
Yeah.
There's a chance you're playing at home anyway in round 2.
That's what I mean. That's why I don't quite get the outrage, man. I really don't.
Get the rest. All right, Andrew, thank you as always. I appreciate you. Happy New Year to you. Connor, Happy New Year to you.
You guys too.
Enjoy yourself tomorrow. I will be off. I will be back on Monday. Everybody have a great New Year's Day. Enjoy the bowl games, which you'll be able to hear right here on the station. And I'll talk to you Monday.